maybe life isn't so bad when you have a dog that, look how cute the fucking dog is. Is the dog healthy now? The last time we spoke, you had to go back, the storm. Are we okay with the dog? I mean, the dog looks more sad than we do right now. I don't hear your mic, though. The dog's taking the mic.
I was muted. That dog with the eye problem is his sister, but they're litter mates. He is just so dejected by the Packers loss, and now this loss. And then Dan, once you informed him that they've lost 12 games in a row and given up 25 points in each game,
an NFL record. And think about it, the NFL's been around over 100 years. So this is like the worst stretch for any team in the history of the National Football League. Ever.
He's been alive since 2000. He was born in 2011. Look at him. He's only got 2 playoff appearances in his entire life.
At least he missed the championship game in 2010.
Yeah. See, to see him wink when he said that?
Yeah, he said.
Thank God I missed that.
Thank God he wouldn't be here today if he had to witness that.
Exactly. Look at the look on his face. He's like,
feel the same way.
You're not fucking kidding, man. Look, he can't. He's like, he's looking away. He's just as dejected about this as we are. Man.
Yeah. Sometimes I make that face if I've come too quickly and I know the woman's not happy with me.
Is that what happens to you too, Phil?
I'm sorry. I don't think they care about the girl orgasm.
He totally responded to you, like, because he can hear my headphones. He totally responded to you, man.
I'd like to have that. I try to have that effect on people, good or bad.
Yeah. Well, Dan, we have plenty of sorrows to drain, and you can tell by the look on his face, so does he. But he doesn't want to sit. Well, he would sit in my lap the whole show because he's such a good boy. But let's kick this shit off, bro. I'm flying this solo tonight, so I got to get I didn't have the opener ready. Here we go. Let's kick this shit off.
Bears country. Where is it? You down with BCP? 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 You down with BCP?
So I was at the game yesterday. Cliff Victoria was kind enough to offer me a ticket to the game, and it was just as hot as broadcast. I mean, they were talking about it on the game. I rewatched it today. It was that hot. It was the hottest game I've ever been to. The humidity. It was funny because the night before on the Weather Channel, they were saying that, oh, this Gulf Stream is coming in and it's going to be pushing all this humidity to Tampa. And we're like, oh, no. So, yeah, it was a hot game. The point is that we had a lot of fun. A lot of fun. It was great to meet Cliff in person for the first time. And got some excellent food cooked by him. He's a great cook. He's a great host as well. He did an amazing job. And my sorry ass ended up passed out drunk on the floor of one of his buddy's rooms after that game because I couldn't fucking handle the loss.
Yeah. It's not just a loss. It truly isn't. And it's not just, it's 0-2 because we've been here hundreds of times, I think, as Bear fans for a long time now. It's just because we know now. Like, again, I've got 4 Fields jerseys. I wanted him to be the guy. You say, oh, Dan, it's only been 2 games. We know, man. When there's like 10 sequences throughout the game where you look and you're like, oh, that guy's open, that guy's open, that guy's open. Well, what's he going to do? He's going to step up and take a sack. He's sacked 6 times. At least 4 of them were because of himself. Now, I'm not saying the line's any good because Cody Whitehair is as bad as I thought he was going to be. I don't know about Lucas Patrick yet. Braxton Jones really struggling so far this year. Darnell Wright looks like he's going to be okay, but he's still a rookie in his first 2 games. And who the fuck knows what's up with Nate Davis? I mean, he's probably going to end up cut before I know somebody died, but Jesus Christ, our offense has died. But the point is, with Justin Fields, it feels like now that it's obvious he's not the guy. He's shown no progress, and it breaks my fucking heart because I believed in this kid, and I still want him to play. But if you told me against Denver that the Bajent kid started, I couldn't argue. I hope they don't start him against Kansas City. That wouldn't be fair to him to go play the defending champions on the road. And I still hope Fields can somehow pull something out of his ass on Sunday. But it just, even if he wins a couple games, and Dan, I'm telling you, the team that we just saw, I was at week 1, you were at week 2, I don't think they're going to win a game. The way they're playing, I could see them not winning a fucking game all season. I'm not kidding. So even if they steal one, I'm afraid this is the end of the road for Justin.
Sadly, I feel like you're correct because even Greg Gabriel said it earlier, as Laz pointed out here. Greg Gabriel said he's done with him. He flat out said he's done with him. He's done with him. He'd be looking to trade him today. And says Bajent needs to start per se, or to see what he's got. And I've said this a lot. Everybody knows this. Like Tyson Bajent, the things I know it's a preseason game. I know it's a UDFA, blah blah blah. But the things that you see that you need in a quarterback, he was showing you off the bat. And it wasn't too big for him. He said it himself on a podcast. He played in so many games in college that the first time he stepped on the field, to play that game 1, it wasn't for the Bears. It was natural to him. And the ball comes out of his hand quick. The footwork goes in timing as soon as he plants, the ball comes out. You saw him changing plays at the line of scrimmage during the games, as a young rookie like that, like he knew what he was doing. And there wasn't that hesitation. There's even clips that people have put on Twitter of Justin Fields in training camp, just running like receiver drills where, there's nobody guarding him. There's nobody guarding the receiver. They're just running routes and he's just throwing. And he does the same thing where he drops back and he gets ready to, he cocks the ball to throw it. And then he hesitates. Why are you hesitating in practice when the guy is just running across the middle? He's just doing like a flag ride across the middle, and yet he goes like this, and then he goes to throw it, and he pulls, and then he throws it. So you're seeing that happen over and over again in every game. Yes, the kid is accurate. Yes, the kid is a spectacular athlete. But if you can't get rid of the fucking ball quick enough, on timing with rhythm, then you're not going to succeed in the NFL. If you're not seeing the field well enough to know and have confidence in the route of the receiver and your ability to get the ball and throw them open, then you're not going to succeed in the NFL, no matter what kind of athletic skills you have. And so that's why if you could just take Bajent's release and his footwork and timing and release and just add it to Justin Fields, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. But I don't think he's going to get there because I think that windup is too long. Go ahead. I'm done talking.
No, I can't. I don't know. I haven't seen Bajent's warm up or anything. This isn't about Bajent for me. It's almost like I'm mourning a death with Fields,
right?
Because I really believed in him,
right?
And he doesn't have it. I mean, if they can really just take away the run as effortlessly as just. Well, you can't run now because we got people on the outside. I'm sure the defense has tried that last year. It just feels like Justin is not trying to run. Maybe they've coached that out of him, but he can't hit anybody that's open. I don't know if he's afraid to make a mistake. And then that pick six on the screen, I get it's the play calling, the screen. It's just terrible play calling. But man, I mean, you got Tongan from Green Bay who's caught like 100 passes the last 2 years. I don't think he's got a catch for us yet. Mooney didn't have a target the other day. DJ Moore had what? He had about 100 yards, but it just felt like
104.
You could throw it more to him too. And then Claypool finally caught a touchdown. But it's just like everything is so hard, like just to complete a fucking pass. And man, like I said, the thing is, I believed in the guy, and I'm still rooting for the guy. But the narrative is out there. When you've got Alex Brown on the Bears postgame show on Comcast Sports Chicago saying that this is his last year with the Bears. That's the narrative. I didn't create that narrative.
Right.
That's what people think. That's what I can tell you from being at Soldier Field in week 1 that the loudest ovation of any player that came out in the pregame was for Justin Fields. But by the third quarter, everyone around me was saying, you've got to put him on the bench. He doesn't have it. And so, and in some other words, I mean, Jay Bonds could back that up for me. I mean, it's just like he was being booed by the third quarter. By the fourth quarter, the stadium was taken over by Packer fans. It was disgusting, Dan. Like the go, I don't know if you heard it on TV, but "Go Pack Go" was the whole fourth quarter. And then when we're leaving, you know how you come into Soldier Field, there's always somebody like beating a drum, and they want you to give them money. He was beating the drum like in rhythm so that the Packer fans kept saying "Go Pack Go" as we're leaving the stadium too.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It was like I wrote a script for a nightmare. They couldn't have gone. It's like everything that could have, if I'd have said this is the worst case scenario for week 1, that's what happened. Everything. And then they followed it up with that shit show yesterday.
Yep.
So like I said before we turned on mics on, last year when you and I did the podcast after we lost to Green Bay in week 2, we both admitted we didn't want to be there. But we got through it and we were professionals. And I think that's what we were saying tonight. Like, dude, I'm here for you. I'm just here for you because I haven't talked to you in a couple of weeks because I was traveling last Monday. I was stuck at O'Hare. The flight was late for like 2 hours. It's horrible. So I'm just here for you, man, because like I don't want to even talk about the Bears at this point. And I got Aldo on deck tomorrow night. Like I don't even know what I want to say. What is there to say? It's going to be a long fucking year. That's what we got to say.
I felt the same way. Right before, all day long, I'm like, how do I tell Dan I don't want to do this show tonight? Because I'm here. I'm doing this. I'm here for you too, bro. You know what I'm saying? So we're both here just to help each other out with our own, the
misery.
We both everybody takes it so personally, and when you're a fan like we are. And you and I take it very personally when we are now losing. Now we're the laughing stock of the league. We have the most losses. And fuck, where's Don Burr? So I can agree with you, okay? We fucking suck, Don Burr. You're right. But we can we always try to start the season with some hope, hoping that knows how I took the 11-6 prediction is now gone from the top of the screen because it's out the fucking window now. I'm to you.
15 now.
Don't think we can. It feels like we can't win another game. It feels like
I really think that. I mean, they've lost 12 in a row. The defense is. I know everyone's like, they gave us a chance to win. Okay, they still gave up. I guess the 7 wasn't on them, so they gave up at least 20 in theory. And it's just like, how many times can there be a third down in like 15 and they can't get off the field? How many times can the defense hit little Baker Mayfield, who's got to be like 5'8", and suddenly is just bouncing off people like it's a video game all day and still making great throws. I don't want to take anything from Baker. He's making throws sidearmed when he's about to go down. He's extending drives. He's doing everything we want Fields to do because the truth is yesterday Baker Mayfield looked like 100-1 over Justin at quarterback. And I know that I'll get eaten alive for saying that. Someone will probably say I'm racist for saying that or some bullshit. I love Justin Fields, and it has nothing to do. My criticism of him has nothing to do with the fact that he happens to be black. That's bullshit. But I know that there are some people out there that are painting people as that if they criticize Justin now, which is Unfortunate.
Man, let's get to the chat, guys. Just to acknowledge you, Ravi. What's up, Laz? Thanks for joining us tonight, guys. PZ, Leo Factor. What's up, Leo Factor? Greg Tierney hopped in here. Mr. Mayhem. Evie, Bear Down Davis. Thanks for joining us, guys. I mean, what else is there to say? Like, this team is it's a debacle. This kind of sums it all up for oh, that's a background. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to damn it, I wanted to show let me upload this. Thought I had it. I want to show you last night. This kind of sums it all up. I was at the game with Cliff Victoria, and this was the end of my night. Sleeping on the floor in his buddy's hotel room. Thanks for taking care of me, Curtis. I appreciate you. That's what that game did to me.
Yeah.
Brutal, man. It was
but
brutal.
I know you probably drank a little bit even in that fucking heat, though, right?
We drank before the game and only had like a beer or two during the game, but then went to the bar, and I swear somebody slipped me a Mickey because I don't know how all of a sudden I couldn't walk anymore. I like skinned up my elbow.
I hope you weren't date raped here. I hope that there wasn't a man that took advantage of you. It's like
everything still feels good down there, so it doesn't feel like it's been violated.
You don't have some unusual ass pain, right?
No, nothing like that. No.
Like, why is my mouth so fucking like? This feels so weird
what
today.
Is this Uber in my mouth for? Yeah.
The strange taste I can't get out of my mouth.
Dehydration, Dan. Thanks, PZ. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't drink in the sunshine like that. If I drink during the day at all, I go to sleep early. So that, yeah, maybe you're like Brisker. Brisker wasn't dehydrated properly either. And now Eddie Jackson's probably going to be on IR. Kyler Gordon's on IR. I mean, God damn it, man. Like, what can go right?
Kyler Gordon's on IR? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he broke his hand during the Green Bay game. Yeah, and then his backup, Blackwell, missed yesterday too. So, and then when you got both safeties hurt, again, you had 3 of the 5 guys in the secondary were just fucking straight off the street.
Yeah.
Very little NFL experience. Yeah. And somehow Tampa Bay really didn't exploit that too much. In fact, I don't know if you could see it from your vantage point. I know everyone's saying that Stevenson is playing so terribly, but man, Mike Evans was pushing off of him. It should have been offensive pass interference on some of those big gains. Did you see that? Could you tell that from your vantage point at the stadium? Like there was a 60-yard. Mike Evans pushed Stevenson almost to the ground on a 60-yard gain that set up a 1st and goal. He pushed him. Like even the Fox commentators, Moose Johnston and Davis, I think his name's Joe Davis, they both said, "Oh, he pushed off. That's an offensive PI." Not called. Not called. When you're the Bears, nothing gets called, even when it's blatantly on camera.
I did not see that. We had great seats. We were in the 3rd row, but we were on, I don't even know which end zone it was, but we were like literally right on the, like looking right at the end zone. So we were like maybe like the goal line or something, 3 rows back. And it was really hard to see when they were all the way on the other side of the field,
Sure.
you know? Yeah.
But it was after the Bears scored, and it was 7-3 Bears. One of the first plays was a 60-yard gain from Tampa that set up a 1st and goal, and I think a touchdown. But that was an offensive PI that should have been called. It was horrendous. So, I mean, maybe they did exploit Stevenson, but I mean, hell, when the refs don't call blatant push-offs, I mean, you could be Charles Tillman and not get and still be exploited if the refs are not going to call offensive pass interference.
Right. Yeah. 1,000%. Leo's saying, learn from the mistakes made with Fields and sit your next young QB until you and sit your next young QB you draft until the O-line is fixed. And that's what my buddy and I were talking about Green Bay and how they're an organization. You know, I've only said this to you, like, I don't know how many times, Dan, and everybody else, I'm sorry to repeat myself, but I laughed my ass off when they drafted Rodgers because he was supposed to go 1 and he fell because he, all these, like a week or two before the draft, it was just coming out that his arm wasn't strong enough and blah, 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 blah. And I laughed. And then look what happened. And then they go and trade up and draft Love. Well, what do? They put him on the bench behind Rodgers to sit and watch and learn from him. And when you see him out there, even I haven't watched any of the game. I just saw like one fucking highlight. It's all it took. One highlight from the Falcons game yesterday where Jordan Love looks, if you put a 12 on him, he looks like Rodgers.
He's thrown 6 touchdowns in 2 games, but thankfully they're 1-1. Somehow they lost yesterday. I don't know how it was.
Right. But just his mechanics are identical. And if you have a Hall of Fame quarterback like that you can even look at the Matt Castle, is that his name, from New England, who they traded for when they went 11-5 and Brady blew out his knee and they got a bunch of picks. They got picks for him. People thought he was going to be good, and he was decent here and there. He has beaten some people. Garoppolo made a living off of being studying behind Brady. And now you have Jordan Love, who really seems to have taken it to heart because he looks the way that he just throws the ball, everything he does mechanically looks like Aaron Rodgers. So when you have someone like that, here we all kind of were like laughing or hoping that thinking that Love was not going to be, and he still might.
I never said that. Let me point that out because I kept telling everybody, "Whoa, I'm not making fun of that kid at all."
Right.
I don't want a third. We've already had 30 years between Favre and Rodgers of getting our ass kicked. I never made fun of Love.
But you could never, you would never expect it to happen, though, right? Is my point. Like you wouldn't think it's 3 in a row. But when he's been watching and studying Rodgers as long as he has, and it shows on the field, yes, I agree with what you're saying here, Leo. But the point to that is we don't have anybody for him to sit back and learn from. So if Justin Fields could have legitimately sat back and watched from Aaron Rodgers for 3 years and learn from him in practice, theoretically he might be able to get rid of the ball better and quicker, I should say. And he might have studied his game. He might not have. He might have wanted to still do his own thing. But, yeah, there's something to be said for sitting your quarterback for a few years. And that's what Green Bay always does. And here they are doing it again. And it's, like you said, he's already got 6 touchdowns. They're 1-1, but if he keeps playing like that.
A comment that I made, if I can shift gears momentarily, it was like 2+ hours into working with Aldo last week. And I was like, man, can you imagine how bad the Bears must have been against Green Bay for us to not mention that Rodgers was out for the season until like 2.5 hours into the show. Any other year, that's like our top story. Rodgers is out for the year. God damn it, we're happy about that. And Rodgers, tears his Achilles tendon like 4 plays into the season. We don't talk about it for 2 hours. Why? Because the Bears were so dreadful and putrid against the Packers, and they followed that up, obviously, yesterday. But, man, that's how bad the Bears have been. Like, Rodgers' injury's kind of like, it's not really that big of a deal because we're fucking terrible.
We fucking suck. Isn't that how you feel?
Yes.
I had this line. I had the whole thing in my head, and I forgot what I was going to say. I was trying to remember for the show. Something along the lines of, we have, we're always like trying to like every year is anew, right? And we always assume that because we're 0-0 and it's a new season and we have the draft, we have the signings that we have, the people that we let go and replaced hopefully with better talent. Like we're always hopeful every year that it's going to turn the page and we are going to not be the typical Bears again. And then we get right back into it, and here we are. It's like getting fooled again.
Yeah, this feels like 2022 still. Like it feels like it's like week 19 and week 20 of last year. I mean, they've got all these upgrades across the board with so many positions and players and such, but it feels like we're stuck in like a twilight zone of like you're the 2022 Bears, and you thought 2022 was bad when they were trying to lose like to get that first pick in the draft, which is not commendable at all, but that's what happened clearly. And then now, like it's the same thing. And think about this: Eberflus was 2-1. 2-1 as a head coach in his first 3 games. He's won 1 game since. The Bears have not won a game in almost a full calendar year. It was like, I'm born on Halloween. It was right before my birthday, like the 24th, like a week before my birthday when they beat the Patriots. And that's the last time they've won a game. It's almost been a full fucking year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if I worked for Vegas, I mean, come on, man, like Kansas City, they should be favored by 20 against us. And then you're going to have Matt Nagy wanting to get revenge because, they made fun of my bald fucking head and, they were taunting my kids in school and everybody telling them that my dad, he can't coach, which he couldn't. So they're going to try to blow us out, and they're going to.
Yeah, and they're going to. They're going to take out all their aggression on the shitty start to the season on us. We know it's coming. I mean, it was already a loss in all of our books pretty much anyways. So now we're going to be 0-3, right?
More than likely. And then
but if we win this game by 10, then it's like, oh, we're going back up the roller coaster. Click, 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 click.
I'll be back at Soldier Field for the Denver game. And, if you're 0-3, I mean, seriously, do you start Bagent against Denver?
I listen, I'm all for starting Bagent whenever anyone wants to. I listen, if the coaching staff knows by now, right? They know. Because they clearly are not running plays that they want to run because they don't think he can do it. They don't have the faith in him to do it, right? So that's why we're seeing this. The first game was just, what the fuck is this play calling? This game was kind of similar to that. They kind of tried to go to DJ Moore, but if they were really trying to like play to his strengths and they knew that they could do it, they'd be trying to run more of a spread offense like he ran in college. And because they have the receiver, at least one of them now they can do it with. And they would at least try to play more of those plays or put more of those plays into the game for him. But there's some disconnect going on that they are not calling the plays that we think that they should be calling. And so everyone's calling, for Luke Getsy's head now as well, too. And
if I could comment on that quickly, I can't believe we've gone back to the Matt Nagy offense is what it seems like. They're in the shotgun every play, every fucking play. And it feels like to me, again, I'm no expert. It feels like to me, if you want to be better with the offense, then you put Blazing Game, whatever the fucking fullback's name is, 35, you put him in there and whichever back you want to run the ball and put Fields behind center. And then maybe you do play actions, you do waggles, bootlegs. But it feels like if you had an offense last year that that was the most prolific running offense since like 1984 last season for the Bears. And then you follow that up with what? Backs getting 4 carries a game. And you got Justin in the shotgun every play when his strength is not to be a pocket passer. It's like, damn, man, that's the thing with Nagy. They can't take advantage of the players that they have. They see their system as paramount. So even if their system doesn't fit their personnel, they're going to force it on you anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you figure that Fields isn't this or that, then it's your job as a coach to get the most out of him with his strengths. But they just don't do that. How about run the goddamn ball? And you can do that with Justin. You can do that with your backs, and then set up, and the run can set up your open receivers, although we're worried Justin may not be able to hit them. But if he's on the run, he seems so much better.
Yeah. And when he's on the run, the ball comes out quicker. Go figure. Like, you think if they'd be trying to coach hey, you know how you throw the ball when you're running to your right or left and how it just comes out of your hand twice as fast? Yeah. Can you try to work on that while you're in the pocket, kind of a thing? But it's like a combination. It's a coaching thing going along with the player is not the two are clearly they're not working together. I mean, they might be trying, but they're not. The results are not adherent, at least for at this moment. He did get hot later on in the season last year, although we didn't win much. But it could just be that he's still warming up. But
that's why you shouldn't have just shit the preseason away, which I've complained about ad nauseum. When you just act like the preseason is like expendable and it just doesn't matter anymore. That's the one thing I would say. If I were a coach, which I would never be, I would try to be like old school in the sense that, like, when Ditka's coach, they want week one, they want to be ready, and you come out on all cylinders and ready to play. And now it's like you just try to find your way the first couple of weeks because we don't try in the preseason. What's the preseason for?
Exactly. Like, we're using it as extra preseason games. We can afford a loss or two. No, you can't. I mean, just to finish my point of what I was saying was.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. That if it gets to a point where it's not happening and we're not winning a game with Justin Fields, there has to be a point that you have to pull the plug and put him in simply to see what you have, because if you don't have to draft a quarterback next year, you have 2 first round picks that you can use to bolster your team in other ways. And if you can put Bagent out there and he starts to like move the ball, like we're all, like everyone that's like myself that is excited about what we saw from him, if he can do that in a regular game, in the season when we're playing a big opponent, I'm like, I think even Greg Gabriel said it. If I could put him out there for the Chiefs, see what he has. Put him in a big game. Like, let's see what he has. Because if he wins, like, let's just say they did that and they won. Let's say they won by 10 points.
Wow.
What would happen, right? The momentum would shift. Now you're going, well, wait, maybe we have something here. And then if he can win us, we haven't won a game in 12 games. It's almost going on. We could 4 more games. Or 5 more games. We're 17-0 in a season. You know what I mean? So with consecutive losses, I mean by that. So if you don't have to start over again with a quarterback next year because you don't truly know what you're getting, even though Caleb Williams might be the next Peyton Manning, but what you don't know, you don't know. If you know that Bagent on your team has this, and that, and he can process things and learn things at a rapid rate, put him out there as soon as you can. If you know that this season is lost, and you as a coaching staff know, well, we have to kind of change our game plan around a little bit because we have to try to focus on the things that work to his strength within the game rather than what we just want to call because we know that's going to work if we can make it succeed. You know what I mean?
I do. In my opinion, we lost yesterday. Again, the defense wasn't good, but I think Fields is the reason they lost. I know the screenplay, it was a terrible call. They calls it incessantly, Getsy, but he's still the one that threw the pick 6. He's the one that refuses to audible. Maybe they tell him he can't audible. I don't know. But he's still got to see a big defensive fucking end standing right in front of him.
Mhm.
It's just like he never sees anything. And I want him to succeed so badly. Again, I would almost, I'm almost willing to blow a stranger for him to come out and upset Kansas City Sunday. Like if he could just have this all-world game that shifts a narrative, like that's what I want. I've been a Bears fan so long now that I've seen this before. Like I know where this road leads. It's going to lead to him not being here and the coach not being here. And we're going to have to start over again. And the Bears always have to start over again. And that's what I'm so envious about with Green Bay is that, again, they've had 3 starting quarterbacks since 1992.
Right.
And the Bears, as we know, during that time have just had a cavalcade. So we can't get consistency. And we're not getting it with this coaching staff. They're in over their heads. Eberflus may be a nice guy. He's not just a complete and utter fucking disgrace like Matt Nagy, who somehow bullshitted his way into the position. Like, this guy knows what he's doing. In terms of being a defensive coordinator, I just don't think his system works anymore. The cover 2 is just fucking dead. And I don't know if he's good enough to fire the guys up to be the head coach. I'm sure he'll get a DC job again, is what I'm trying to say. And he's not a fool like Nagy, but he's not going to succeed with the Bears. He's just not. We've seen it before. So if something can happen that makes us dream again, like, oh my God, maybe this is the first, and that's a win against Kansas City, I'm all for it.
Well, Dan, we've got a friend of the show and a friend of yours,
Sanjay,
who's been waiting in the background. He wants to be introduced as the champ.
What's up, guys? Can you hear me all?
Yeah, hold on a second. I got a technical difficulty here on my end. Let's see if I can fix that.
My guy, Sonny.
What's going on, fellas? How's it going?
Depressed, man. How about you? I mean, I'm down in the fucking toilet here.
Hey, first of all, I have to give a big shout out to my friend Derek. He's actually listening to the show. I sent him a YouTube link, so big shout out to him. He's actually been one of the people that got me into football originally.
Oh, nice.
So and into fantasy for football, and ever since then we kind of have this joke, inside joke, where we call each other the champ. So any chance I get, I try to take that title.
All right, hold on a second. I'm having some technical difficulties here because I'm trying to arrange my screen, and I need you to be there, but Dan's is in it. So let me do that. Let me try this. See if that works. Nope, this one. There we go. Got it. All right. So what's up, champ?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys heard, but like I said, big shout out to my friend Derek. He's the reason that I got into football, first of all.
What's up, Derek?
Unfortunately, he didn't talk me into like picking a team other than the Bears. That would have been nice. But yeah, big shout out to him. Yeah, no, Dan, I'm the same with you. Depressed. I don't know if depressed, more of shell shocked.
Yeah.
Because this
well said.
This isn't just 0-2. I think that entire city would have a different vibe if let's say
he was playing well, but they were 0-2.
Yeah, we're 0-2, but Fields looks competent and looks like he can run an offense, or that, you know what I mean? I think we would be a lot more, I don't know if I should use the word forgiving, but it would feel different. You know what I mean? At this point, it just feels that our entire foundation is gone. Things that we've been sort of thinking about for the next 15 to 20 years, because we've never had a quarterback as talent as raw as Justin Fields. And to see it to come to this point that we're week 2 talking about that we're not sure that we're going to be picking up his 5th-year option, it's just absolutely devastating. And it's one of the harshest realities in sports. It's the cruel speed in which a star that we all thought that Justin was, it can dim. The week 1 performance, week 2 performance, it's a stark representation of his struggles so far from the rookie year that we've been sort of hoping that he'll build up on, that he'll take that next step like Josh Allen once he got his receiver, like Jalen once he got his receiver, but unfortunately the Fields is still missing reads, holding onto the ball, displaying a lack of pocket presence. I think that's the most worrying part for me. Is just, these are not the characteristics of a franchise quarterback. And it's a quarterback. It's supposed to be seeing the field. It's about the vision, seeing the field, reading defenses, anticipating routes. And to what Greg Gabriel said, and a lot of people, is that it's true, we haven't been able to see Justin make a lot of those anticipatory throws, and right now Justin is just missing all over the field. The offense is playing one tune, but he's playing an entirely different instrument, and in moments, I'm not gonna lie, it's devastating to see him, because right now, to me, he looks like he shouldn't even be out there. Like, he is way out of his depth to be in this league, and that's so crazy to me. The emotional roller coasters has been just nothing but short of like tormenting for the Bears. Going from, like I said, the euphoria of believing that you found a foundational piece for the next 2 decades, to a gut-wrenching realization that you might be back to square one. One thing that I will add this, in regards to Justin Fields and everything. Look, predictability. Predictability. I just feels like I started watching football yesterday, but I know that if you're predictable in the NFL, that's like one of your worst enemies. You know what I mean? And it's an alarming glimpse in week 2 when the Bears are running the same screen pass 3 times consecutively, and the result is a devastating pick 6. And then this morning on the way to work, I'm listening to ESPN 1000, Cap and Jay Hood. They have Coach Matt Eberflus on the show. It's difficult to hear the coach justify the play calling and indicating that, well, the coverage was a cover 2 beater. To my understanding, the coach was explaining that the Tampa Bay was in cover 2, therefore the screen pass works against that defense. Guys, all I'm thinking about is, like, what do you think this is? Like Madden 22, that if a defense calls cover 2, that it's like those players are programmed, to run only certain routes. Like, it's worrying when a Tampa Bay player admits. I don't know if you all saw that on the Twitter. He admits, he's like, oh, we all knew what was coming. They had the exact same formation 3 times in a row. Meanwhile, your coach is telling you that, oh yeah, I think it's, I'm okay with the play. So, if the coaching staff cannot adjust and diversify and see this, well, I don't want to say how can you expect young quarterback like Justin Fields to succeed, but a lot of this thing sort of, to me, falls a little bit back on the coach. Like, how do you have a guy regress so bad? You know what I mean? And like, we can't ignore these things. Like, what are we going to do? Even if we draft another quarterback tomorrow, Caleb Williams, for example, we just had one of the biggest talents in Chicago, and we saw that this coaching staff, instead of helping him take the next step forward, it looks like this dude. So what?
It looks like it's almost like this is kind of how we expected him to play in year 1.
Yes.
Yes.
And I have no faith that even if we draft a new quarterback, that this coaching staff can develop that person.
And why should we? I mean,
he was at the beginning of your great rant there, and I mean that no sarcasm, because everything you're saying I agree with, like all of it. But we're saying it feels like it's not just 0-2. There's something more sinister to it. And I thought in my head, I was like, it's like, again, if it was a Twilight Zone episode, of course, this Twilight Zone wasn't rated R, but if it could, it's like everyone associated with the podcast woke up on Monday and we were all impotent. and there was nothing we could do about it. Like all of us had broke dicks and didn't know why. We would probably still be happier with impotency than what we feel like right now with this 0-2 start with the Bears.
We wake up with impotency. We go to Pornhub, right? And we just want to jerk off, but we can't because our dicks don't get hard.
Yeah, no pill in the world could bring your dick back to life. Not any woman's mouth, nothing. And we wouldn't be as just as brokenhearted as we are right now. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but still, but maybe not by much.
Not by much.
That's how bad this is. It's not just 0-2. The Bears have been 0-2 probably 20 times in my lifetime. I don't know. I could figure it out if we really needed to, but that's not the point. As Sonny was saying, it just feels way worse than 0-2 because everything that you hoped for, that you potentially believed in, like you have this kid, he's going to be the fucking guy, has been shattered. And not only is it shattered because he just doesn't have it, it seems. The people that are coaching him clearly don't have it either. So there's no way this is going to be rectified.
Yeah,
I need Barack Obama to come tell me something about hope. Is it 2008?
Yeah, right. But no, like I said, to me, it was difficult to hear your head coach, like I said, flat out justify the play calling. Meanwhile, if you watch that pick six, the linebacker for the Tampa Bay, even before Justin threw the ball that got intercepted, he actually made the cut towards the running back. Like he read the play. Like he would have probably stopped it. Even the other guy, intercepted it. Like the fact that the coach is completely okay with that. Meanwhile, you have the opposing players telling you, like, man, we saw it all day long. Yeah, they had the same formation, and they ran the play 3 times in a row. Like, but the coach is okay with that. Like, I'm sorry, how can you not be worried about the future? To me, this is not about Justin Fields. To me, this is about like again, even if we draft someone new, what is this coaching staff? This coaching staff just told you what they're capable of, which is, to me, is nothing. And again, I didn't come here tonight to, I don't know, defend Justin Fields. I think we're all immensely let down by the lack of just pulling the trigger. And I know today I was talking to Dan. I just don't understand how this player regressed so much compared to his rookie year, where he was dropping dimes on the fucking Lions. Watch some of those fucking plays from against the Raiders, where he's making some amazing touchdowns, and after the show, when he's given a press conference, he's speaking to it like, oh well, yeah, I saw the defender had his back turned towards me. That's where I threw the ball. Right now, he's not even pulling the trigger, and it's like, what have you guys coached to him where this dude not only is not pulling the trigger, he's not seeing anything. And it's like, I don't know, is it the coaching or is it the fact that he just got annihilated his week 1, so now he's seeing ghosts, which again, I have to call out all the Chicago Bears fans, myself included, okay? Myself included. Bald-ass Matt Nagy was he always wanted.
Hold on.
I'm not even going to get into that. I have zero thought.
That bald-ass motherfucker always wanted Justin Fields to sit the entire fucking year. He didn't want him out there because either he knew that the protection wasn't good, either because he knows that he's holding the ball too long, that he's going to get wrecked. I don't know, but obviously we all were screaming for Justin to be, oh, well, let the kid play. Andy Dalton sucks. Get him the fuck out of here. We were all screaming that. So we're all in the same boat today, and we have to accept the fact that we also might have led to some of this, him seeing ghosts after being just like a goddamn ping pong, for his first rookie year and, his second year, just being absolutely beat up. But to me, again, like what's frustrating right now, and I heard you guys talking about Bajent. I agree with Dan that when he said that this coaching staff,
we're both Dans.
Okay.
I'm Dan on this show. Well, you call me Shorty though, right?
Okay, I'll call you. Okay, so to Shorty,
I'm Shorty. That's Dan. But other than that, he's the other Dan.
Okay, so I'll call him the other Dan. I'll call you Dan. All right. So the Shorty Dan when you mentioned earlier about the coaching staff knows with the Bajan, I want finally someone to then in that front office to have some fucking balls like the 49ers have, where they give up a boat to move up and draft Trey Lance, only to, I don't know, I'm assuming they realized something during these past 3 years, seeing him in practice. They're like, yeah, you know what, this kid ain't it. Like, talk about the fucking balls, man, to trade him to the Cowboys.
All those picks to
would
to
we
go
ever fucking have? We would not. Our franchise don't do that shit because we don't have. I guess we don't have the fucking staff that's brave enough to do that. And it's like, to me, where I'm at right now, it's like, okay, if I'm the, that's what I'm saying. I wish there was someone with some fucking balls in that front office. If you know that Justin ain't the guy because he's been shattered and destroyed, then fucking pull the fucking plug and then put Bajan in if that's the case. You know what I mean? But I don't want to be in this middle ground because we've been there through these past years. It's not working out. And another thing that is, I don't think there's anyone in this organization that has the balls to make these major changes. I'm sorry. Poles to me is no fucking better than Ryan Pace. I'm saying it right fucking now.
All right, that's enough. You're out of here. So what were you saying, Dan?
Hey, one thing I wanted to comment on what Sonny said was about, he was like, we all deserve a little bit of the blame because like we were cheering for him and saying, fuck Andy Dalton. Well, we did that with Trubisky. We were like, fuck Mike Glennon, put the kid in. So yeah, we did that with both of them. Maybe they were both rushed. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And clearly the kid is shattered. Like one thing that's always been coming out of the media is that Fields is built. He's built for this. Well, we'll see. But right now, it don't look like he's built for it. All right. But my point is this: Ryan Poles to me is no different than Pace. I'm sorry, guys. Chase Claypool right now looks like a goddamn miss. We have to go and try to grab DJ Moore for Chase Claypool. To me, that's a miss. We're just in an area we're starting to make the same moves as we did with Ryan Pace, where we are not drafting good, and to fix those drafts, we have to make free agent signings. We had one of the biggest cap space salary of all the 32 teams for the season. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't seem that this team has been put well together to me. And again, I'm very nervous of the way the Poles is making moves. I see him missing on Chase Claypool. I'm nervous going to the future. Like I said, I wish there was a person in that had some fucking balls that'll make a decision instead of being in this limbo right now and going back to these screenplays. Like, if you don't trust your fucking quarterback that he can't do what you need him to, then what the fuck are we doing, man? Like I said, man, then pull the fucking plug. What the fuck are we doing?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's everyone here we all have our own you in the beginning, from day one, Sanjay, like you were in love with Fields just like I was, and Dan bought a jersey. Hell, I didn't even do that yet.
4 of them.
Four. My entire family has a Field jersey, man.
Yeah. I have the navy one, the white one, the throwback white one, and the orange one.
Yep.
And that's why I don't buy jerseys. I wait until I know they're like, I'll buy Devin Hester now. But it's just, as Bears fans, we're just here again in the same fucking Groundhog Day loop.
I heard you guys talking about Jordan Love earlier. I was one of the fans that was. I know Dan Aguirre said I wasn't talking shit, and he's right. He was not ever talking shit. I was one of the fans that was always talking shit, but I was always talking shit, and I will still stick to it to this day. Even Derek's probably listened to it, and he's gonna remember this. Jordan Love will never be Aaron Rodgers level. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that he's a fucking bust either. I think he's going to be a very competent quarterback in this league. but I don't think he's going to be that difference maker. As a matter of fact, when I've watched, yes, he has 3 touchdowns or 6 touchdowns in these two weeks, but you can tell that they're doing things that they're putting him in a position where they're not asking him, hey, put us in the position. No, it's the other way around. They're putting him in a 3rd and 2. They're putting him in way more better positions and asking him to do certain things that he's comfortable with when it's short yardage than, I don't know, 3rd and 15. Now, I know that Jordan Love also can convert on longer, but my point is, like, I just don't see him. I've seen some of the throws that he's made. He just doesn't strike me like Aaron Rodgers. But it doesn't mean that you can't win with that guy if you surround him with the right players and you have the right system for him. And if they do that, yeah, I think they'll be fine. But I don't think that he's that elite player that we all know that is the foundation at the end of the day. If you want to have some type of a quote unquote dynasty, you have to have an extremely competent quarterback that'll be able to take you through 10 years. And I think that's what we want. And that's why this feels so bad, is because we felt that we've gotten that rough diamond with Justin Fields.
Mm-hmm. Jay Sanders saying Harbaugh is the guy with the balls we needed. Is it the coaching staff?
Yeah. Harbaugh, I mean, his hero, despite being eviscerated in the Metrodome in 1992, his hero is Mike Ditka.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a picture of Ditka hanging up, the one that's on the meme that says, "I just came here to say fuck the Packers," where Ditka's got his middle finger up. Harbaugh has a big picture of that hanging on his wall of Ditka with the middle finger. That's his fucking hero, man. I mean, that's the attitude. And that, you know, Dan Campbell says crazy shit up in Detroit about biting people's ankles and drowning people and stuff, but he's their Mike Ditka. He's got that attitude to where he can inspire people. We hire Matt Nagy and, you know, Trestman and Eberflus. These guys can't motivate elderly people at a church. I mean, they just have no energy or presence about them. And then John Fox too, just sitting there with his graveled voice. Although I'm sick right now, so that's why mine sounds so poor. But I'm just, what the fuck, man? Yeah, I really think that a guy like Harbaugh would be perfect for our organization. But I also think the management was so jealous. Michael McCaskey was so jealous of Mike Ditka being such a star beyond the Bears. You know what I mean? On SNL and being on all the commercials, and they didn't like that. So I think they've hired coaches with much more subtlety because they didn't like having a coach that was that big of a presence. I think that's every person they've hired since then is the antithesis of Mike Ditka.
I can't disagree with you on that.
The thing that's also on my mind with this entire saga that's been unfolding for the first 2 weeks is this entire coaching thing. What do we do next? What do we do when it looks like this? To me right now, if things stay the way they are, I don't see us winning one game.
I feel the same way. Everyone's been saying that I'm being dramatic. I'm worried that they're not going to win a fucking game, and I'm not kidding. And this guy's going to be fired after this year because he sucks, man. He does.
So my worry is that what happens if we don't fire Matt Eberflus or the coaching staff? We draft Caleb Williams. We tank again the year after that. What, now you're going to fire him and now you're going to hire a new coach who's going to tell you, oh, well, Caleb Williams is not really my guy. I wasn't there to draft him. It's like we're always doing the same fucking shit over and over and over again. It's like what is it? The definition of insanity. It's like that's fucking us. They might as well put fucking Bears right there next to it. Bears fans as well, because we're the fucking idiots going to the stadiums. I mean, Jesus.
The last two or three head coaches were hired by consultants. You know, they had the McCaskies had to go and get consultants to help them find their head coach for the last couple or 2 or 3 of them. That says enough.
That might change with Kevin Warren now, because Ted Phillips was so
incompetent.
Well, he was good on the business side apparently, they're making money. But the Kevin Warren guy seems like he's much more involved with. I know right now his whole thing is to get us a new stadium, but he seems much more competent on a football side than Ted Phillips. But that's just my intuition. But maybe Kevin Warren and Poles could hire the next coach, because Poles is going to get one more swing at this. I just think that Eberflus and Justin are both on their way out, and I wish that weren't true.
I hope so. I mean, if we're gonna cut the quarterback here, me personally, I don't. Just listening to the head coach today justify the play calling. Like, are you out of your fucking mind, man? If an opposing fucking defensive player is like calling out, like, yeah, we knew the formation. It was the same play. We were waiting for it, like, and you're justifying it. Like, are you out of your fucking mind? I think, like, if I was the GM, like, that would be a huge fucking red flag. They're like, you don't know. It doesn't seem that you know what you're doing here. And I'm worried that we're going to keep Matt Eberflus. To me, I'm sorry. I'm out on Matt Eberflus. I'm out on his entire coaching staff. I'm sorry. To see fucking Fields regress this badly, get the fuck out of here. And then hear you this morning, like I said, justify the fucking play calling. Fuck out of here, man. Like, I would not be fucking wanting Matt Eberflus if I was the GM next season on my team, especially if I'm drafting a quarterback.
Yeah, his hits thing is a fucking joke too. All of last season, they held no one accountable for loafing and all that stuff. Aldo and I talked about that before, but it's like now you're supposed to play. But last year we were trying to lose guys, so now it's in effect.
Yeah,
it's a double standard, and who could play for that guy? I saw someone say something about Ditka though. It's like, he didn't just burn out. Like, he was with us for 11 years and made the playoffs 7 of those 11 years and won a Super Bowl. So just saying.
And Dan Aguirre, sorry, the other Dan, we were at that last game where we met against the
Minnesota game, right?
Yes, and I remember us fucking talking at halftime. We clearly tell the Bears are trying to lose this game, and it's like that's the fucking culture in Chicago. Let's fucking lose. That's the culture in Chicago. And to me, I would say, well, goddamn, it starts with the fucking GM and the McCaskies and fucking everybody. How the fuck can you win and have a fucking dynasty or a winning culture when you're fucking like that's like you said, like that was last year, but today we're winners. Like, you don't fucking work like that, man.
Right. It does in our minds as Bears fans until everything starts to play out and we're 0-3. Because we might as well just put the loss down right now. We're 0-3, guys.
I said this on Twitter. I'll be interested to know you two gentlemen's opinions. Now I know, Sonny, you weren't watching in the late 90s, but I'll still ask both of you anyway. I said on Twitter or X yesterday that I haven't felt this low about the Bears. And I'll preface this: they were 4-12 in 2002, lost 8 in a row. They were 3-13 with Fox in 2016. Then there was Caleb Haney in 2011, just shitting the rest of the season away. So there have been low points. 2014, the end of the Trestman era. But I said yesterday that I haven't felt this low, this negative about the Bears since 1998 when Kramer got hurt, and it was like, all right, we're playing Steve Stenstrom the rest of the season. I was like, God, this guy is the worst quarterback I've ever seen. And we won't win a game with him. I think they went like 1-7 with him. But this is the lowest point I have felt as a Bears fan since 1998. So I'm just curious if either one of you could give your opinion on that.
Dan, you want to go first, or you want me to go?
I wasn't listening to the question because I was typing for chat. What was the question again?
All right. Well,
go ahead.
I got to tell you my spill again. I was saying that there have been a lot of low moments as Bear fans, and I went through a couple of them. Yes. 3-13 with Fox in 2016, 4-12, losing 8 in a row in 2002. But I said this was the lowest point that I have felt as a Bears fan, without hope and thinking there's just nothing that can change this, since 1998 when Kramer got hurt and we're playing Steve Stenstrom the rest of the season. I was like, God, we won't win a game with this fucking guy. He's terrible. And I think they went like 1-7 with him. So my question was, I said, this is the lowest I have felt as a Bears fan since 1998. And I was asking you to say what your instinct says to you. When is the last time you felt this low where you're like, God, there's no hope?
2010, when they lost the championship game to the Packers. When they lost to the Packers last week, that was just as devastating to me because that felt like we never got to talk about that because you were traveling back home from going to the game. And that game, when the Packers they went to Rodgers, and okay, now the guy I laughed at that they drafted is finally taking over this team. They can go back to sucking, and they get we let him into the playoffs at the final game, and even though we did try not to let him in, but because they played the starters most of that game, and they still beat us, and then we fucking lose to the Packers in the championship game. With Cutler playing well, it looks like everything's going well, and then he just doesn't come out the second half, and we're like, what? Nobody even knew there was an injury. That loss to me was, I think, I feel like something short-circuited in my brain, in my Bears fandom in my brain, because I totally stopped caring about football. I barely even watched it. This is for the first time in my life. I didn't watch that Super Bowl. I've never watched. That's the only Super Bowl I've missed since I was like 10. Didn't give a fuck. The next season, I could give two fucks. It was on the TV, but I wasn't watching it. I was doing other things, and I'd be like, oh, of course they're down 10 points to the Packers again, or whatever it was. That was my low point. And then when they lost to the Packers again this year, with Jordan Love taking over, and it feels like that same moment when Favre finally fucked off, and then we get Rodgers, now we can start winning again, and it didn't happen, and then now we have a new ownership apparently. This loss feels like the ownership just transferred to the Packers. That loss to the Packers deflated me that much. I feel like this is the second worst loss to me in my lifetime, that Packers game, next to that championship game.
I want to hear Sonny's comment, but not even that championship game or that one that I was at opening day. To me, the worst one was week 17, 2013, when we had to win and get into the playoffs, and we had them at like 4th and 12. The last play of the game, like 30 seconds left in the game, just one stop. The Rodgers had like 3 or 4 fourth downs. He converted all of them. Just, we need one stop, and we're going to the playoffs. And Cutler's finally beating Aaron Rodgers. And wouldn't you know it, Randall Cobb's wide open in the end zone because our safety doesn't know how to play fucking football. And Chris Conti, that was my low point in the Bears-Packers rivalry. But still, I felt hopeful. Like I felt like next year when we lost the championship game, next year will be our year. And they started 7-3, and it looked like it was going to be our year. And then Cutler breaks his thumb. So for me, 98 was the low point. So what do you think, Sonny?
Breaks his thumb after tackling a guy he threw an interception to against the Chargers.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just to add, that my friend Derek texted me while you guys were talking. He actually agrees. He feels the Kramer area was the worst. Mind you, he's a Titans fan, but he also, since he's in the area, he kind of follows the Bears, but he also felt that the Cordell Stewart time also comes to his mind. Now, for me personally, I know for me it's going to be that 2019 season, week 1. I think we lost 10-3.
We're going to the Super Bowl, baby. Going back to the Super Bowl.
Correct. To me, that was it's very similar to now. Because I felt like we were really tricked because it felt like we were good. 2018, he entered on a goddamn kick. Cody Parkey. After Mitch, it seemed like something clicked for Mitch. He made that excellent fucking drop back throw to fucking Allen Robinson. It felt like, all right, you know what I mean? Like maybe something clicked for Mitch. That motherfucker then misses the field goal. So 2019 felt like this is going to be our year. It seems that we have competent coaching. The coaching is good. Looks like the quarterback is going to take that next step. Like we're in good hands. So to me, that 2019 was, hugely disappointing.
Yes.
Looking at it now, the week 1 loss to Green Bay. more of anger than of disappointment, more of like anger and shell shock. Especially watching that. I haven't gotten a chance to watch week 2, the QB school, but like watching the week 1 breakdown. I mean, one play was bad offensive line, next play was bad Justin Fields, next play was bad play calling. So it was just you couldn't really tell. But week 2, and it's a problem when you hear people pretty much agree all across the board, people that play the game, people that coach the game, when they say week 2 they lost because of Justin Fields, and I would have to agree with them. That's hard, that's devastating, but it still didn't feel as bad as that 2019 thing to me. Again, this is more like a shell, still a little bit of a shell shock, but 2019 is for me.
Wow. Okay, I like that. I like that thought process as a Bears fan. The 2019 season did seem, because remember that was the 100-year.
Yeah,
See-
that was we were going to go to the Super Bowl. That's what they were all. They were selling us that shit too. The Bears 100.
All that shit. Yep.
The NFL fucking flexed the goddamn game to Thursday for Bears Packers NFL opener. You know what I mean? For the first time, it wasn't the defending Super Bowl champ. It was the fucking Bears Packers, only for us to go and lay a fucking dud. Hey, man,
It's awful.
Yeah, it's awful, man.
Retro, thank you for your $2 super chat. Trubisky better than Fields, both not good enough though. Oh, that's a bold statement.
And I saw earlier someone made a comment. I just want to say, like, I 100% agree with them when they mentioned like the preseason this year. That makes you wonder if they didn't want the preseason because they didn't want to get exposed. And even in that week one, with remember when Fields won 3 for 3, and I think a touchdown.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I have to be right. I have to go help my wife give my dog an eye drop. I will be right back.
Yeah, no worries, man. But it makes you think if preseason one when Fields won 3 for 3, a touchdown, it's looking at it now. Obviously, we're only 2 weeks in. Looking at it now, man, what a joke that was in essence, because that ends up being one of the key cores of our play calling. It seems for week 1 and week 2, those stupid wide receiver screens.
Yep.
And it's just so crazy that the first preseason game that shit works, and it's 3 for 3, 100 and something yards for Fields, a fucking touchdown. I don't even know, but it was some crazy shit. Like, goddamn, Bears are gonna have like an explosive offense, only to see them not really, play that well in the preseason game 3, to see them then get pulled. It just reminds you of that same bullshit with Matt Nagy not wanting to be out there. We don't need preseason games. It's like they either know that they're bad, so they're trying to shield them right away. I just don't understand the concept behind not wanting to play these starters in the preseason game when they clearly fucking need it.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly. But the Nagy thing, I said this earlier. I don't know if you were here, but it's worth reiterating, though. How do you go from the team last year who led the league in rushing and was the most prolific Bears rushing team since 1984 to the last 2 weeks? They look like they're playing Nagy's offense. Fields is in the shotgun every play. Yeah. And they're passing every play. It looks like Matt Nagy's calling the plays.
I was going to say, yeah, Matt Nagy calling the plays again, because they're just not running the ball. I mean, it reminds me, I forgot who said it. I don't know if it was either Adam Hoge. I can't remember, but the point kind of was like, if you had Walter Payton, so Chicago would never know that they have another Walter Payton because they never run the fucking ball. So it just feels like, again, we're right back to the same shit, man. And that's why it's so worrying to see this coaching staff. That's why I'm hoping and begging the new guy, Warren, or even like Poles, maybe he is a bit different in the pace. Pull the fucking plug, man. You know what I mean? Like, do something, man. Like don't be the same fucking shit.
I'm afraid that it behooves them to lose, because they'll be thinking, all right, we're going to have 2 really top 5 picks now if we keep losing. and they're okay with us buying in and still coming to the games and still losing because they feel like the gold is at the end of all these losses.
Yeah, and go ahead.
So I think they're okay with losing, is what I'm saying, because we're still coming to the games.
Yeah, and that's the problem. What we were talking about 10 minutes ago. Instead of like trying to build a winning culture, you're right. It does feel like it, where they're like looking like, oh well, looking at the bright side, we'll have two number, in the first 5, we'll have 2 picks. It's like, fuck, man, like that. You're never gonna win if you're like thinking like that. You're never gonna win. You're never gonna have a winning culture in your building if you're playing these games. Well, starting next year, like, come on, man.
George Allen, who was the Bears defensive coordinator, later went on to coach the Rams and Redskins, always had a cliche that he said, but it was so true. And again, we're just fans. We're not even the coaches or the players, but he said, like, losing is so terrible that a small portion of you dies with every loss. He's like, it might not be your heart, it might not be your lungs, it might be your spleen. It might be something you don't notice, but something is taken out of you every time you lose.
Yeah.
And we don't have that mentality at all with anybody with the Bears anymore. Maybe the McCaskies do, because Virginia's got to be sitting there thinking, bro, I'm going to be 101. How much time do you think I got left? Can we fucking win? No, but I don't think our management, beyond her or her son, George, I don't think anybody else in the front office feels that way. They're like, this is a build in progress. We can lose and start winning in 2025. Like, that's the kind of shit they think, I believe.
I feel like George and the family only want to, like, their biggest reason for wanting to win is just to get their mother or their aunt or their grandmother or whoever, just to get Virginia that Super Bowl title so she can leave this earth whenever she's ready. Hopefully she'll be 110. I'm not wishing for it anytime, because she's 101 now, man. Come on, she'll be 102 on January 5th.
Jeez.
So I think that they really want to win it for her. Other than that, I just don't think they have any idea how to do it. And they're just trying like hell. And the blind squirrel, I thought, finally got the nut, but it seems like the blind squirrel is still looking for the fucking nut. And it's just been happening every year.
I would think that even if it's not Harbaugh, I'll just use him as an example. Someone that's had, again, of course, he has ties to the organization. He played here. But even if it's not him, it's somebody like him and I know we did this with Fox, but Fox was the only coach ever that the Bears ever had that was a coach somewhere else before they hired him. Even Mike Ditka was a special teams coach with Dallas. He wasn't the head coach. So Dave Wannstedt, defensive coordinator, the only head coach they've ever hired that was a head coach somewhere else first was John Fox. But I would like that, because you think about Harbaugh as the example, led the 49ers to the Super Bowl. I would want someone to come in that it's not, oh, they're trying to learn how to win in the fucking on the job. Like, dude, bring us somebody that knows how to win from day one. Give us somebody that knows how to win from day one. And not just a guy, a project. It's always somebody like, oh, you won't believe who we hired. We hired Mark Trestman. Nobody else wants to hire him, but we're smarter than you, so we're going to hire Mark Trestman. Like, we don't want Iggy or somebody that's supposed to be so smart. Just give us somebody that's a proven track record, someone that can show they know how to win from the jump. That's what I want.
And somebody here in chat said earlier too, a minute ago, the last 2 guys that they hired were, or I forget whatever they said, but it was something along the lines of they were coaches that didn't even call plays. So the past 2 offensive coordinator coaches that we hired, like, didn't even call the plays for that team, like Nagy. And Flus probably did. I'm sure he called the plays for the defense. But when you're picking off the pile like that, and Getsy in this case, I think he was talking about Getsy and then Nagy. So Getsy never called plays for Green Bay. He was just the quarterback's coach. And we had to hire him as the offensive coordinator, or else they wouldn't let him leave if it was a lateral move. So, yeah, it's we don't know what we knew nothing about Getsy as a play caller before this, and we were hoping that his quarterback coaching skills, working with Aaron Rodgers, the things that they would have learned from each other, that he'd be able to add that to this quarterback room as the offensive coordinator. And it's just not.
To Sonny's point earlier about the predictability of that screen pass where Tampa said that. Okay, so they left Foreman inactive this week for Velus Jones. Velus Jones comes on the field. We all know what's coming. They run that fucking end around, which they bring every time he comes in. They run the end around, and what makes it even worse, again, a Matt Nagy specialty, they ran the end around to the short side of the field. So there was nowhere to go anyway. And of course, it loses 4 yards. So again, I'm just a dude watching the game on TV. I'm like, oh, number 12's in. Here comes the end around. It's just like, damn, there's no creativity with them at all. The fucking Getsy is way in over his fucking head.
Yeah, that's us always. I agree. That's us always trying to outsmart somehow the other freaking other person. Like you said, Dan Aguirre, hiring Mark Trestman because he's this offensive genius that we're gonna take everyone by surprise. You know what I mean? Or again, Getsy, like calling the exact 3 with the same formation, same fucking players, 3 plays in a row. Same, like somehow, like he's gonna trick them. Like, oh, they're gonna think I'm not gonna call it again. Well, okay, well this time they're really not gonna think that I'm gonna call it again.
Exactly. It's like the preseason. Oh, look, the screen pass worked really well, and so did that dump off to Herbert. Let's just come out with a horizontal or a lateral passing game for the first game because they won't expect that because that's what we did in the preseason, right? And it completely failed them. We got another $2 super chat from Retro. Stop revenue sharing. You'll see Chicago win. Thank you, Retro. Go ahead, Dan.
No, we're being sarcastic, but I'd like to know what they really are saying in those scenarios because I feel like they do think that they're going to shock someone or they're smarter than them or whatever. God, it's just disgusting, man. Like, get your shit together. And then, like yesterday, Braxton Jones, that's another point. Now, I give him so many props for not missing any time and always being there. He's the complete opposite of Tevin Jenkins. He's always there for us. But, like, the dude, has another penalty, another false start, and then the next play gets Fields fucking lit up, man. That's the one sack that really wasn't Justin's fault. And it's like, give this guy some smelling salts. Like, what the fuck is he doing? Wake up. Wake up. You just fucking, you jump off sides for the 4th time this season, or a false start for like the 4th time this season, and you get your quarterback just fucking annihilated on the next play when you don't even try. It's just like, what are they doing? Nobody's ready to play. Nobody. There's no fire in this coach because winning was optional last year. Yes. And now how can you listen to the same coach who was just so fucking dry and boring with no passion whatsoever?
Yeah. Well said. Even my own wife, when my wife, who just a couple years ago was having me trying to explain to her down and distance what a first and a second and third and a fourth down means, to now, a couple years later, granted, she's only got that and a little bit more down. And she's saying with her own self, saying, this team doesn't look like it's playing with energy. Like they where is the passion? Where is where's the energy to try to come back and win this game? You're out of it, but you're not out of it. Like, you're losing, but you're not out of it. You have plenty of time to come back and win this game. And they go back and they score against Green Bay. And then the next play, they're like the next time they get the ball, they're like lackadaisical, and then a turnover. Same thing with this week. They drive down, they score a touchdown. Claypool finally gets his first touchdown, and just the defense just comes out lackadaisical, and then just let them march down the field and eat up the clock, and there's nothing they can do. the team in general is not playing with fire, passion, and the ability to believe that we're down by 10 fucking points with 10 minutes to go. If you were down by 10 fucking points with 3 minutes to go with Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, you better damn well believe that those guys know, they believe, and they're going to teach that whole fucking team in real time that they can win that game.
And to your point,
that's not happening.
Last year, when we saw Sanborn in the game, he was giving us like 130%, like playing way above his talent level and was making all these tackles. And this season, it's like, well, I don't see Sanborn. I don't see the other two linebackers that we just paid $100 million combined. Like what the guy from Buffalo, Edmonds, what has he done? Nothing. I haven't seen him do fucking shit.
Yeah.
No, at least Ngakoue has been like, he didn't get the sacks that he wanted, that we all wanted, because Mayfield, for whatever reason, kept breaking out of his grip. But at least he's still getting pressures. I don't know what the secondary's hurt. Eddie's probably going to IR. Kyler Gordon's on IR. Brisker's always either hurt or dehydrated or something. And, the secondary's, it's just not very good right now. The D-line is getting pressures, at least so far. What are the linebackers doing? Where's that fire from even Sanborn, someone last year that until he got hurt, like I said, he was the guy that was like playing really hard. And you don't see that now at all from anybody on the defense. Nobody.
The point that Dan said earlier with his wife talking about, there's no belief.
People out and not knowing what she's talking about. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I remember week 2 now, I'm watching it on TV just now. And I think we're only down maybe, like I said, maybe 7, maybe 10, but they had one shot that showed the Bears bench. And that's probably one of the times when I've gotten mad at Justin the most, because I felt so much and believed in him so much to be that franchise quarterback. But they're all just sitting there completely dejected, as if like they're losing by 30. And it's like week 17, it's the last week. And like they have absolutely no communication, talking to each other, no spark on that entire offense. Like to me,
hold on, I got to cut you off. This guy says, "What the fuck am I talking about?" Well, I'll tell you what the fuck I'm talking about, you condescending bastard. What I was talking about was that Sanborn gave us energy last year, and even he's not giving us energy. Edmonds is not giving us energy. The guy we signed from Philly's not giving us energy. But yeah, you could do the show better. Fuck you.
Yeah, no, there's not one person, and there something is happening, because to me, like even the post conferences when Fields is talking, he reminds me of fucking Mitchell Trubisky, where he just like blah, 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 he's not like when you listen to the press conferences from the past years, he's very pointed, knows exactly what he's talking about, can even recall certain plays. Now he's regurgitating shit that he thinks that us fans want to hear. Man, shut the fuck up. Sometimes I just want a fucking stud to just be in that fucking podium and be like, we fucking sucked. I sucked. I'm the quarterback. It's my fucking team. It doesn't matter that this person dropped the ball or not. I should have done the fucking job. It's my fault because this is my team. But we never had that. It's so fucking, I was screaming at my TV, and I'm sure you guys remember the play where it's like third or second, and I can't remember which down it was. Fields is rolling out. There's supposedly no one down the field. I don't know. I didn't see the film. And just as he's about to run out of the bounds to take a fucking sack and a yard loss, he finally tosses it and like, throws it out of bounds, like at the last moment. And to me, it's like, why is it taking you so fucking long to recognize that? Like, what is happening to you, man?
That happened
to you.
And that happened to Trubisky all the time.
Yes. It's like watching a different fucking player, guys. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand. This dude regressed. This is after we, quote unquote, gave him an offensive player, a guy that is supposed to help him take the next step. It makes zero sense that he regresses this bad on his own. It can't be. It has to be the coaching too. That's why I'm so fucking worried about the franchise here. And it's going to be a big telling with the new, what's his name, Warren. impose, like, are they going to make some fucking changes in the next couple of days, couple of weeks? Some fucking firings. I know that maybe you can't fire Justin Fields. Fucking fire Getsy. It's not like he can fucking do something. And then if the problem is, if the Getsy's telling you, well, I'm not calling the plays because I don't trust Justin, it's like, figure it out, motherfucker. That's what you're getting paid for, man. Have some fucking balls. Like I said, if the 49ers can dump a fucking truckload to move up to number 2 to draft Trey Lance and then admit to everyone, like, yeah, the dude's not it. Like, what the fuck are we?
The thing you just said earlier, Mike Brown in 2005, the Browns had just beaten us. The Bears had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter, and then they blew it to Trent Dilfer. I mean, I shouldn't shit on Trent Dilfer. He won a Super Bowl. But anyway, the Bears were 1-3, and Mike Brown, after the game, said, we fucking suck. We are paper champions. We're supposed to be this good defense. We suck. And they were 1-3, and they won 8. They won 8 straight games after he said, we suck.
Yeah, that's
Because it seems to motivate everybody to say, you know what? Yeah, we do suck, but it's because we're not giving enough effort or whatever. It motivated the team because he just told you how he felt, how the despair. Like you were saying, no one comes out and says that now. They just give you the standard answer that, like, what was the PR firm? What did they tell me to say? Okay, I'm going to go say that.
Yeah, to me, Justin sounds robotic. These last 2 press conferences that I listened to, again, he just doesn't sound like the same guy. Like, reminds me of Mitchell Trubisky, where he's just rambling on what he thinks the fans will want to hear.
Yeah, the press conferences, they're just getting brutal for him, right? He's dejected looking.
Man, I'd rather him shut the fuck up, honestly, instead of just like talk just to talk.
Right.
Like, shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. You sucked. Yeah. Fucking say it, acknowledge it, and get the fuck out of there, man. Instead of like, and that balls. By the way, I gotta say this, because this is where like you know, we're talking about red flags and this and that. Like, this is where like it was a big fucking red flag, and I had a huge fucking problem if we're gonna talk about a franchise quarterback. Week 1, Justin Fields calling out, well, we gotta, you know, do better blocking on the perimeter. Motherfucker, I know, but bitch, you don't fucking say that. If you're a fucking franchise quarterback, again, you take the goddamn blame. You're the fucking quarterback. You figure out a fucking way to make it work. That's the way you fucking do it. If you're going to be the elite, like you're calling yourself the elite, like you're that, oh, well, yeah, I already consider myself a franchise quarterback. Well, then act like it, you motherfucker. Fucking call out your goddamn opinion. What the fuck is the matter with you, man? What kind of does that?
Even Trubisky took all the blame, right?
Jesus.
Yeah.
That was so fucking disappointing. That's what I'm saying. It's like I'm watching a different fucking person, man. I don't know what they did to this kid to coach him. I have no clue.
Maybe if I'm trying to play devil's advocate, I agree again with your fire. I love it. Maybe because, again, I do like Justin and I want him to be the guy. I fear that he's not. But maybe because, like you said, it's like, where did he go? Like, how did he get to just being this robot? Maybe it's like he's 5-22 as the starter now, I think. Yes. Maybe it's all this losing, man. I mean, I'm just trying to be empathetic toward his mental. Like, I think if any of us, like, we're going out day in and day out, and like you're giving your fucking all, and you just can't win. Dan, like everything I do, we're still losing. Maybe that would make me feel like, holy shit, you know, the way he's behaving is probably a result of all that defeat.
You know, Dan, I would tell you then if that's the case, then he ain't the fucking guy. Because like
you're probably right, though.
Like we need a fucking guy that's going to take this shit on his shoulder. That's what we need and what we want. So if that's what he's worried about, then he ain't the fucking guy. Which, by the way, this whole thing with the Bajan thing, again, I don't know. But like the whole thing where Justin Fields supposedly felt uncomfortable. I've read that. I forgot which outlet. I would tell him right now. But that's, you know, either Twitter, I've read it somewhere where Justin supposedly felt uncomfortable with the whole Bajan thing and whatnot. It's like, man, why the fuck are you uncomfortable if that's true? To me, again, that's like, okay, that's a red flag if it's true. Like, it shouldn't fucking matter to you at all. It's irrelevant if you're the fucking franchise coach, if you're the guy, and if you fucking feel it, and you act, you know, you walk the walk. It would be irrelevant that Bajan is breathing down your neck. You know what? You know what would help Bajent not breathe on your neck? Throw the fucking ball when the guy's wide fucking open.
You know what's even more damning?
Here's something. Why don't you go to Bajent and go, hey, I've been noticing you get rid of the ball really quick. Maybe we can work together and you can show me what your tricks are to help me like with my release. That's what I'd be doing if I was Justin. It doesn't matter if he's a third string quarterback. You can still learn something from him.
No,
you know what's even more damning is when Poles told Bajent that he made the team. At least this was what was disseminated in an article, I think, in the Sun-Times.
Mhm.
But it said that Poles told him, "Congratulations, you made the team. Now you can help make Justin better." That's not a direct quote, but the idea was he told him his job was to make Justin better. And it's just like, are you saying that like Bajent can read defenses right there and that Justin can't? What do you mean? Like, why should the undrafted rookie from a small school be helping the kid from Ohio State who played in the national championship game? Why would he be making him better? Like, Justin should be worlds above him.
Correct. So that to me, that's like, if that is really the case, and you're, the coaches and the GM, I'm hoping that they know, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? At that point, cut the fucking cord after a while if you can see that it's not going on. If it's not happening, it's not happening. But to me, I just have zero answers and zero faith that they know what they're doing in that building at all.
I'm pulling up Tyson Bajent's his Twitter page. He's got a shitload of videos on there of him doing just this kind of thing. So let me remove you here for a second, Dan.
How about it?
Look at that. Look, this is all I want. Boom. Look how the fucking ball just rips out of his hand. Quick release. Why isn't there something to be learned from Justin by just watching this? He doesn't like take that long windup like Justin does. Justin would be taking.
To me,
okay. So right here, Justin would take another step back and then
pat the ball.
Hold on a second. Let me go to it. Right here, Justin Fields would take another step back, and then once he planted his foot, he would then be trying to do his like long windup. But from here, that guy doesn't take that step, and boom, it's gone. And I mean, you can go to his page, and he's got all kinds of videos on here of him throwing the ball like this. Go check it out for yourself.
Great point.
But to me, it's if you got to bring in a guy to supposedly help Justin Fields, then you're telling me that Justin Fields ain't the guy. That's what you're telling me, pretty much. If you know what Dan Aguirre, when you read that, if Poles said that.
Oh, that was quoted. It had
do you think? I mean, honestly, do you all think like Patrick Mahomes in what year was it? Like when Andy Reid would we're gonna bring in this guy to help Patrick Mahomes? No, man. What the fuck are we talking about here, man? Then he ain't the fucking guy. So my problem then is, again, I'll always go back to coaching. Like, why is he so bad now? Like, at least he looked fucking competent. Yeah, I know we're losing games. By the way, Mike North, big apology to him. That motherfucker was right. So if he ends up listening to this show, I have to apologize to the man. Hey, I was the one that will be talking shit to him on Twitter for Mitchell Trubisky. So he was right.
Hey, Sonny, I don't mean to interrupt you. I found the direct quote. Informing Bajent of his position as quarterback 2, General Manager Ryan Poles texted him with some concise and high expectations. Quote, Ryan texted me just telling me, congratulations, be an asset to Justin. Stay focused, stay ready, but be an asset to Justin. That's the quote.
Straight turn 4-5 ball.
Yes.
To me, that's that. I mean, that at that point, our GM is pretty much letting us know that he feels that Justin ain't it. You know what I mean?
Look, Justin doesn't throw the ball like this. Look, that's a deep out. That's a 15-yard deep out.
And I will tell you that, yes, as I mentioned it, I believe at the top of the show, that everyone's mentioned, and I think Greg Gabriel really hammered it a lot, was that yes, he does.
This is
Justin doesn't throw it with anticipation into a spot. Bajent, okay, watching him through those preseason games, the kid did look very sharp. It would be a disservice to the Chicago Bears if this kid doesn't get a chance to play.
It would be.
Especially if you feel like at this point, Fields to me, man, he looks wrecked and shattered. And that's what I'm saying. We'll see how built he is, because everyone's saying that he's built, but like, man, he's done to me a lot of things that are like kiss of death. When I think of what I feel is the franchise quarterback, he's done like a lot of things that are kiss of death, like calling out your fucking teammates about better pass blocking. How about you make a better fucking throw? It's like, shut the fuck up, man.
Fling, gone. Just get rid of the fucking ball.
I can't say that Bajent's ever going to be any good. I don't know. I'm not like sucking Bajent's dick here or anything like that. All I can say is
his
that
stats have to be acknowledged.
I feel like I can speak for all three of us and say that we all really believed in Justin, and we all really like present tense Justin. We want him to succeed, but it appears that it's too big for him. So again, There's no malice here, where none of us are coming on here and saying all this stuff about Justin because we didn't like him from the get-go or something. We all loved him from the get-go.
No,
Loved him.
Absolutely. And
Yes.
and you know, look, the Bajent, like his stats from college.
It's like it's on a fucking it's on a
You have to, if this continues, you have to give him a chance. But yeah, he's like on a string. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, what's that thing that you pull back and it's like a slingshot. Look at just bam. It's night and day between the two guys. Anyone in chat, because chat's blowing up about this, and we got a lot of people saying, like Raging Oak was saying, "Good grief, you guys are drinking the Kool-Aid that isn't there." Like boom, boom, Raging. Watch the ball come out of his hand. If Justin cannot get rid of the ball like this kid deserves a shot before we go into this season with another fucking 3 wins, and we're sitting there with the first and second pick in the draft, and we find out that maybe we don't need a quarterback because this guy is the fucking guy. He's got the build, he's got the arm, he's got the release, he's got the footwork, he's got the processing power. He's mobile enough. He can move around. But he had 2 touchdowns rushing in the preseason. So when you have someone like this on your team, for me, if I'm Justin Fields, I'm going, holy shit, you get rid of that ball. I want to see if you and I can work together on the side, and we can kind of I'm happy to listen, because he's the 3rd string undrafted free agent quarterback doesn't mean he can't learn something from him, is my point. I'm not saying Justin's ready to give up on him yet, but if this continues and we get to a point where we're staring down 0-7 or something like that, or 1-7, why not put this kid in there just to see what he can do if Justin is not able to learn something from this release?
To me, if Justin looks like, which to me, week 1, I wasn't sure. It was one of those things, whose fault is it? Week 2, to me, it looks a lot of fingers are pointing at him that he just can't properly operate this for one way or another. If it's continuing next week against Kansas City, the same thing. If this kid can operate the offense, and again, the coaching staff would know that. They're fucking playing with him. I'm assuming they would know, just like the 49ers knew with Trey Lance. Shit. If that's the case, right, you gotta do what you don't want to do in an essence, but that's what I'm saying. Have the fucking balls to do it then. What I mean?
It kind of comes down to if Ryan Poles is hasty enough, would he even, is it possible that he would be the first GM to fire a Bears coach in season?
I think they fired Getsy before they fire. Here's what worries me about Poles and Matt Eberflus. They all have the same. They have that agent. They have the same agent. We all kind of. It got reported when Eberflus got hired, and I think he was even asked on their introductory press conference. I think it was Adam Hoge that asked them that question, or someone asked them that question. They're the same age, and I hope that doesn't come into that at the end of the day, the polls has to do the right thing for the Bears. And right now, I don't think the Eberflus, to me, no, man, especially after listening to the radio this morning, it's a huge concern. And that is my head coach of the team. Like I said, justifying the screenplay, not even saying like, you know what, we took a look and we had some internal discussions about, you know, what could have done differently. And, you know, we're looking at things. Give me a fucking political answer, but don't fucking sit there like, oh yeah, no, the play was good. I didn't have a problem with the play because, you know, they were in cover 2 and that's a cover 2 beater. It's like, motherfucker, like it doesn't matter that they called cover 2 when the entire defensive guys know what you're about to do. So they're adjusting according to that. And it's like I said earlier, it's like he's thinking like they're playing Madden 23. So the defense called cover 2. So the AI is gonna like run like a cover 2. You know what I mean? Like it's just so concerning to hear a fucking head coach not like really. It seems that he has no fucking grasp of what's going on, man. And we're in week 2. Shit.
I know. It's time to hit the panic button, isn't it?
It is. For me, it is. With this coaching staff, it is. Because to me, Justin Fields took a regression. He looks like he doesn't even belong in the NFL, bro.
Wait, can I answer this question? Walt's saying the lack of any other personnel on the field makes that a simple pitch and catch. No one is gunning for him. The DBs aren't there to change the route. It doesn't matter. If you saw, if I need to find some footage of, if I can find it, of Justin Fields throwing the same kind of pass from this perspective, from like the camera angle behind him like this, you'll see that the wind up right here, he will take another step back and hesitate even when when there's nobody guarding the guy. He does it in practice. If he's doing it in practice and he's doing it in the game, then they're hand in hand. If you can get rid of the ball like this in practice, you can get rid of the ball like that in the game. And that's what it doesn't matter that there's nobody guarding him. The ball is coming up. This is what it's apple and oranges, guys. How fucking quickly can you get the ball out of your fucking hand? If you can't, it's time to look at the guy who can. And if he can't, then let's look at the guys in college coming out of the draft.
Yeah, right? No, I agree with you that like watching the little preseason games of Bajan, he looks like Mr. Automatic. I mean, very quick to read, but he has to be acknowledged that he was playing against third, fourth stringers. But we also have to acknowledge that his release is super quick. Like I said, you have to acknowledge his stats. He ended up like breaking NCAA record for, believe most passing yards and most touchdowns. Like, look, man, I know stats don't tell a lot of, kind of like don't look at stats. Stats are for losers. But you have to acknowledge his stats to give him a shot.
Right.
If Fields isn't working out, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Well said.
Apparently, Nick Chubb sustained an injury that could be career-threatening tonight.
Yes, that looked like, if you guys, I don't know if you saw it, looked like, if you all remember Zach Miller injury with his leg, with the way his leg. Yeah, it was. I saw the video on the X, the Twitter. I wish I didn't see it. It looked nearly like the way the knee. It looked nearly identical.
I got a great stat for you. Pittsburgh in their last 21 home games on Monday Night Football, 21-0.
Damn.
Including the one where Justin and us got ripped in 21.
That's
the
true.
game I was at.
We should have won that game, but the refs screwed us.
Fucking official, man.
Yep.
Tony Correnti. Yeah, but again, with that, you thought, man, Justin's got. He look how dominant he was in that second half. You're like, where's that guy now?
That's what I'm saying. It's like they coached him, but I don't know what did they coach him, because like they turned him into a new person on the field and off the field. He just doesn't look like the same guy or talk like the same guy. It's so concerning. It's like
Oh God, I just saw a still photo of Chubb's leg. Ooh.
Oh, I don't even want that Zach Miller injury was honestly one of the worst I've ever seen. And it was a touchdown, by the way.
Yep, that wasn't
Oh,
that was
and of course, Al Riveron tried to bullshit and explain why it wasn't. And he gets to control the ACC now and their replays.
Look at my poor dog. He's like, "Are you putting me back on TV?"
Is the other dog okay though? Remember the one, like I asked that earlier, but
Yeah, she has another checkup tomorrow with the eye specialist. I think we're done giving. I think we're done giving her eye drops as of today. So
good.
Tomorrow should be a better day.
Good to
Are you
hear.
feeling,
Good to hear.
Are you feeling better about this loss? No. If he winks, he said that means a no. No, that's definitely a no. Not feeling any better about the loss. So. No, he can't even look at you guys anymore. He's like, nope.
So are you two completely out on Fields, or are you still sort of like, what is your guys' take?
Go ahead, Dan. Go ahead.
My brain says he can't do it. He's not going to do it. My heart says I hope that he has some kind of resurgence against Kansas City to the point where we're like, okay, let's see it against Denver. All right, let's see it against Washington or Minnesota or Oakland or I'm sorry, Las Vegas. Like something that just gives you hope to say, let's see it again and again and again. I want him to turn it around. A lot of quarterbacks early on, such as Steve Young, Jim Plunkett, had adversity, and then later won Super Bowls, and were almost looked at as busts at one point. I can't say Justin's going to be able to turn that around to that extent, and if it happens, it may not even be here. But I am a fan of his, and I do want him to. If he's getting a start Sunday in Kansas City, then I want him to make the most of it. Hopefully he can win, but if he can't, I want him to acquit himself well. Like, yeah, show up, man. Like, show up and show us the reason that you were a number one pick. I mean, not number one overall, but a first-round pick. Show us why you were even being talked about as being a first-round pick. Show us what you did at Ohio State that you could throw the deep ball. You show us something. Like, don't just give us this 3-yard screen that you can't complete to Darnell Mooney. How many of these screens does he throw? Even the one in the preseason that was caught by DJ Moore that went to the house was a bad throw. DJ Moore made a great catch on it.
For me to answer your question, Champ, I'll say I'm not done with Justin Fields yet. But I'm just saying that I know what my eyes are looking at. And
it's failing the eye test, right?
Failing the eye test, yes. And the more fucking failed eye tests that become 0-3 and 0-4 and 0-5 and 0-6 are going to become the calling card for it's not working. And it's not to say that maybe, okay, there's two different ways that a quarterback succeeds, right? One is the coaching staff develops a quarterback and because they know what they're doing. The second is a quarterback is so good that he transcends any coaching and almost becomes a coach. He's a coach on the field. He's coaching. He's working with the coaches to make plays. I mean, look at fucking Mahomes. Have you guys seen the quarterback? They do like on Netflix. They do like every Wednesday. He allows the team to make up their own plays. So Mahomes and the guys make up their own fucking plays, and then they present 5 or 6 plays to Andy Reid, and he goes, "Yeah, I'll take those 2," and he puts them in the game. And one of them was a play in the Super Bowl that worked really well. So they both go hand in hand. If the coaching staff can't get the best out of the quarterback, but the quarterback is transcendent of any coaching, then you have your recipe for success. So in other words, if this coaching staff is mediocre at best, but let's just say Tyson Bagent is transcendent at his position, and it doesn't matter who's coaching him. The coaching staff will learn from him. He will learn from them. His drive will make everyone succeed. He will develop wide receivers. It won't matter that we don't have to go out and get a DJ Moore. We'll go draft and develop receivers. It's why Green Bay never fucking drafted a receiver for Aaron Rodgers in the first round. Yet he always had a receiver that he developed. Right? They got a boatload of picks for Devontae Adams. And it just from day one, I can't remember all of them. There's been so many. Down to Randall Cobb and so on and so forth. So, am I done with him? No. Am I seeing that is he passing the eye test for me as of now? No.
I wish that he had just a tinge of Cutler in him. Because if Cutler,
he has the long throwing motion that Cutler had. That's the problem.
The way you were talking about Mahomes making plays and such, if whether it's what's his fucking name, Pep Hamilton, who was here early on, and Ron Turner, and Jay was like, you guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Mike Tice, you have no idea what you're talking about. And what did he say on the sidelines? Tell Mike I said fuck him, talking about Mike Martz. Now, again, we could say Cutler's an asshole, but if the coach is calling bullshit like Luke Getsy, Cutler would have called his ass out. Maybe not to the media, but Cutler would have been like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I can play. Let me fucking, you know what I'm saying? He had a little bit of a swagger to him that even if he didn't succeed, Jay always believed in himself. I wish Fields had a little bit of that in him and say, bro, it's your fault, man. I can't fucking win with these bullshit calls that we need to switch the offense up so that I can perform. Like, I don't know if he has that in him.
I agree. Like Zach Sullivan saying, nobody ruined anyone. Fields just doesn't have it. Stroud is on a team with far less talent and led the league passing this week, for Christ's sake. Just stop with the Fields dick sucking. I think we're kind of stopping with the Fields dick sucking is what we're doing tonight. Zach, it's great to see you.
I want more of Fields dick sucking. He just doesn't deserve it at this point.
Right. So I asked you a couple weeks ago if you'd suck a dick for $1 billion, and you were like, "What? No, I would never do that." And then you just like in the beginning of the show, I would just suck a stranger's dick if we could get this.
Well, I'm speaking in terms of obviously in terms of analogies and metaphors and hyperbole.
Of course,
but
yes.
Jesus Christ, man! Like the first 2 weeks, he's played the exact same game both times. I mean, no progress whatsoever, and I don't know if that's. It might be a combination of him and the offense. I'm sorry, I don't believe in Sam Mustipher. But I don't know if Lucas Patrick's the answer either. But I Mustipher was woo.
Our law saying, please note that Sam Mustipher was considered a dog with the Bears. Now he is starting for the 2-0 Ravens.
Give it time on Sam.
Yeah. He's got Olin in his corner still, so that's all he needs.
Yeah, Olin would kick my ass for it, but man, Olin was a good player. I didn't see it in Sam though.
Yeah. You guys are blowing up in chat, man. We've got a lot of new people in here too. Our law, it's good to see you again. Kelly Jordan, good to see you. That's the first time we've seen you. Thanks for joining us. They should have never changed up his foot on the shotgun plays or his baller mentality now that he doesn't know who the hell he is. So you think that had really something to do with it? That starting the shotgun snap with his left foot as opposed to his right has actually like fucked his mind up because he's like thinking backwards now? Like you're telling him to write with his left hand in a way?
Yeah, that might be an arguable point.
Might be. Yeah, Swifty. Mustipher is starting for the Ravens because of injury. Only. What's up, Swifty? Oh man. You guys are well, we're going on 2 hours here, so you guys are kind of quiet now. You want to wrap this up? You want to keep.
That's up to you. I mean, I don't work my other job tonight, therefore I could do an overtime here with you, so to speak.
Okay, we can go a little bit longer then. It's a good conversation. Let's see. Raging Oracle. QB is the hardest position at the pro level. The idea of an undrafted rookie is going to give you a better shot than your stud as a first rounder is drunk talk.
But you see, to me, that's the problem. Like,
right here, buddy. Right here.
If you know that Fields is not it, he's not giving you that chance. You have to. It doesn't matter that he's undrafted. Who gives a shit? Try it out. Fucking Tom Brady was a 6th round pick. Who the fuck would have thought that motherfucker would have had what 10 Super Bowl appearances? But Tony.
Exactly.
How about
Okay, so you can't just say, "Oh, well, he's undrafted. He's nobody." I'm not saying he's going to be another Tom Brady, but who's not to say that this motherfucker can't turn into a competent quarterback that, like, all right, if you put some pieces around him, you can win with him. Kind of like what I talked about Jordan Love earlier. But
with
like
that release, I think you can win.
Well, if I can make a quick reference, I think Raging Oracle's comment, for the most part, is accurate. For the most part.
Yeah.
Right. But I just want to reference, you brought up Brady, of course. The 99 Rams in the preseason, they had signed Trent Green that year away from, I think, Washington. And he sustained a major injury and was out for the year. Dick Vermeil cried in the press conference. You know, he's like, it's so unfortunate. I really do think we have a good football team. We signed this kid. He's out for the year, but we're going to rally. We're not going to panic. We're going to put this guy named Kurt Warner in there. We think he's good too. And before the year was over, Kurt Warner was the league MVP and Super Bowl MVP. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, Tyson Bagent is Kurt Warner, but no one knew who Kurt Warner was yet. And I don't know if he was drafted. Was he drafted? I don't think he was. He may have been. If he was, nobody knew who the fuck he was.
Right.
And before that year was over, again, MVP and Super Bowl MVP. So it is an aberration for someone to come out of like Brady, a 6th round or whatever, but it can happen. I'm not saying that he's better than Fields. I don't know about Bagent. I don't know. I don't guess any of us will until we see him play. And I suspect he would struggle because he, you know, there's a reason that he played in this D2 or whatever. But unfortunately, you have to see what he's got if Fields continues to struggle to see if there is something you could coach and get out of him.
That would be not that if they don't, like you said,
if he fails, you draft another quarterback if he fails.
Yeah, I mean, if Fields is struggling like that, you have to. Then we have another set of problems if they even try him out. You know what I mean? But yeah,
I mean, you wouldn't say give it to Nathan Peterman, and that's no shot at Peterman.
No,
but he's been in the league a while now. He started a playoff game with Buffalo, but I mean, you kind of feel like you already know who Peterman is. No one knows who Tyson Bagent is, like, and what he can or can't do. So that's why I would think that you would start him over Peterman if you're going to bench Fields. And maybe it's too soon to bench Fields, but it's starting to look like that's inevitable.
It's starting to.
Yeah, and it sucks, man, because I wanted him to be everything that, you know, we've seen it. Every other team's had their quarterback forever, you know, their franchise quarterback, and we've been salivating at the idea of having one. And he's had so many moments that were impactful, granted, all running the ball, but I thought, well, there's much more to him than just those runs. He was just exploiting his athletic ability on those, and he can still throw it too. But it feels like maybe he can't read the defense. I mean, that's what Dan Hampton said, and Ed O'Branovich, and they're both Bears Hall of Famers. I mean, they can't read defenses. He's reluctant to throw, is what Greg Gabriel was saying today. Throw the fucking ball. I didn't get to hear all of Greg, but I heard enough that he was saying that, you know, he doesn't throw the fucking ball. So, I mean, it's the writing is on the wall here. It's not us saying it. It's experts saying it. In the film, as they say, the tape doesn't lie. We're seeing it on the field too. So, man, I don't know. It just doesn't look good.
That's the problem. It's because our eyes are seeing it. We trust our eyes. We have been down this road how many times? as Bears fans, and we've seen what we've watched with our own eyes what a quarterback has done to us in Green Bay for 2 centuries or 2 decades, I should say. We want to see that on our team.
Yes.
And we are not seeing that. And how fucking long can we go on as Bears fans and put all of our eggs into the same basket blindly because we think one day it's going to click and he's going to pull it out. And then we're going to go from a 12-game losing streak to a 12-game winning streak. Do you see that happening? I don't. So if we go on another 5-game losing streak and everyone's going to be talking about drafting a quarterback, let's just see what this release can do for us in this offense.
You have to. It would be like GM malpractice, coaching malpractice if you didn't. I agree with you.
You owe it to the fans, man. You owe it to us to at least see what you have in him. Because if you have 2 first picks in the first round and this guy is the answer, why draft a quarterback?
Well, that's what I'm saying. What Dan Aguirre made a point earlier when he said, when he was talking about undrafted and someone made a comment even, man, those stats alone, you have to give him a shot because he is, as Dan said, it's not like that's Peterman. You kind of know who he is, but just off of those stats alone, you kind of want to give him a shot just to see what you got. And again, I'm not saying that this dude will be the guy that you were saying where he's the next Tom Brady and whatnot. But if you can find a guy that can operate an offense and keep moving the ball down the field, hey man, anything is possible, bro. You know what I mean? I remember talking to Dan Aguirre, that 2018 team, as much as we all, one of the very first people right here, myself, I was, man, still to this day, I'm so pissed at Ryan Pace. But we had a Super Bowl 2018. It was 1 year, but we had a fucking window, man. And I hate to say it, but we had Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson, man. I feel like
quarterback and you trade for Mac and it works, right? But
you could have, and that's exactly it. We thought we were one piece away. You know what I mean? And I feel that like Ryan Pace did his job as a GM. He put us into that window of the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, he missed the fucking quarterback.
As much as I agree with what you're saying there,
he saved us a lot of money, though.
As much as I agree with what you're saying there in reference to the 18 team, Mitch, at least in that game, Mitch did what he was supposed to do. He got us in field goal range. He hit Allen Robinson on the deep play. He just barely missed 17, Anthony Miller at the end for a touchdown before the field goal.
They called it a fucking fumble when it was a play that he caught, and they called it a fumble or something, and then they ended up, because the whistle wasn't blown.
That was at halftime.
They couldn't actually officially call it a fumble or some weird shit like that. That was the play, because we would have been on like the 4-yard line.
He didn't pick up the ball. I think it was he didn't pick up the ball. Had he picked up the ball, they could have called it for the Bears right there at I think it was like within the 5-yard line. But Anthony Miller never picked up the ball. I remember what you're talking about. But the play that Dan Aguirre is talking about, right before we kicked the field goal, Philadelphia called a blitz. Anthony Miller 1-on-1. Mitch threw it like just maybe by 2 yards overthrew him right in the end zone.
It would have been a game-winning touchdown there.
It would have been a game-winning touchdown right there. We would have never went for a field goal. But, it is what it is.
It was somebody said over here earlier that it was Raging Oracle, because he said people are blowing up in chat here because they're getting upset at us for some people think we're shitting on Justin too early. Raging saying that this energy needs to be put into judgment of the coaches, and I
agree.
I'm 1,000% with you on that. Is the long stride of the pass from Justin, and when he drops back, when he's throwing the ball, and the fact that he's not throwing the ball like this. Where is it? Oh, I removed it. It's gone. But I had the Bagent pass up. The fact that if he can't get rid of the ball with the same timing of a undrafted rookie free agent quarterback, is that on the coaches? Can the coaches coach that out of him raging? Can they? And if they can, why haven't they? And is it because they can't, or is it because they suck as coaches? I would love to know your response to that, because yes, there's been shitty play calling. We can all agree on that. The blame has gone around. It starts with the coaching. But if you are still holding on to the fucking ball too long, at what point does that become coaching, or you just are not, you don't have the ability to fix your emotions, to put yourself in the position to be great? Oh, I just shut up the room with that one. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just thinking about Eberflus. It's like I don't think, I can't speak for both of you, but I think I can. I don't think any of us is saying that all of this is on Justin. I mean, I think a lot of it's on Eberflus. A lot of it is on the offensive line. A lot of it's certainly on Getsy. But the overall product, the way they're playing now, I fear that they may not win a game. And I'm not trying to be funny or sarcastic or anything. If they do win one, it may be one or two. So having said that, if you're with the coach right now that's lost 12 games in a row, keep in mind he was 2-1 and has now only won 3 games as a coach. And we're into his second year. He's lost 12 in a row, and his defense, he's here for defense, and they've given up 25 points a game, 12 straight games, which is an NFL record. Never happened before. And if they end up winning 2 or 3 games this year, not only is Justin going to be gone, but so is Getsy and so is Eberflus. The whole goddamn product is failing. It's not just Justin. Everybody's failing. The whole organization is failing, but they're not going to fire Poles yet. They're not going to fire Kevin Warren. He just got hired. Poles is going to get another swing. So I think right now, Eberflus is in jeopardy. Fields is definitely in jeopardy, and Getsy's in jeopardy. And what I would think that if I were Eberflus, and he's got to see this, he's got to feel it in his heart. Like, dude, I'm losing every fucking game I coach. Like, you've got to be willing to try to change something up. Not out of desperation, but just like you said earlier, Sonny, like the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over and hoping for a different outcome. At some point, you've got to make an adjustment, whether that be getting him out of the fucking shotgun, for example, on every play. Like, okay, let's try to run the ball. Let's cater to his strengths. Try not to be so predictable. Something. Blitz more on defense. Something. Just try something else to win. If I were Eberflus, I would be thinking about what adjustments I could make. And how many times have we gone to the half, whether it was against Green Bay in week 1, when it's 14, what was the score against Green Bay? Was it 10-6? And it's like, oh man, I'm so envious over every time, going back to Mike Holmgren, Green Bay always makes adjustments at the half, and we never do. Never do. We've had the lead on Green Bay in this 30 years, probably like 20% of the time, maybe 30% at the half, and would still lose all those games because Green Bay would adjust. Our guys don't know how to adjust ever.
Yeah, it's true. And if it comes down to coaching, then do you become the first general manager to fire a head coach in season for the Bears?
But he won't. He won't. Like you said, one of you brought up the fact he has the same agent. They two both have the same agent. And if you remember when Poles got hired, he talked about how much he and Eberflus are bros. Yep. Like that's like one of his best friends in life. Like he's not going to fire him unless he has to. So then we say, well, maybe his hand will be forced. Maybe George McCaskey didn't make them fire John Fox when it was clearly over, or Mark Trestman when they gave up 50 points in back-to-back games against New England and Green Bay and they didn't fire Tressman in the middle of the season. They're not going to fire him until after the year, period. And
Right.
Poles will have to be forced to fire him because otherwise he's going to make excuses for him because that's his buddy.
And if they did fire him,
I don't think any one of us is saying to fire Poles. Am I not speaking clearly enough?
No, I'm saying if they did.
No,
then,
but I meant on the screen. Like,
oh,
none of us said they were going to fire Poles. Nobody said that.
I was the only one that said that I didn't say fire him, but I said that we have to start acknowledging things that, we can't be blind. Like I said, Chase Claypool looks like a miss. The two defensive guys that are nonstop hurt. What the fuck is his name? I can't even remember his goddamn name now.
Brisker?
Yes, thank you. Same
Brisker,
thing. It's like, listen, we're having a lot of picks by our GM here that, yeah, they look great on paper. Like Anthony Miller, like a fucking stud his rookie year. It's like we have to start acknowledging these things that like some of these picks are not panning out. So we can't be blind about it. And then, to me, what's going to really show if he's doing his job is what is he going to do with Matt Eberflus? Because to me, I'm out. I already told you guys, the moment I heard him this morning talk, I was out when it comes to Matt Eberflus. Out. We're done. I just don't have zero trust in him. When it comes to Justin Fields, I'm watching the comments here, and I see stuff. Some people are still like, I'm still in on Fields, and he's going to be stud somewhere else, and this organization failed him. That was the same shit we heard with Mitchell Trubisky. Okay, at this point, Fields is shattered, man. And to Dan's point, it would take an extremely special player to come out of the other end of this and be great. Seeing what I've seen from Fields now, we would be foolish to think that he's going to wake up tomorrow and he's going to drop 350 on Kansas City with 3 touchdowns or some shit like that.
He's never thrown for 300, has he?
No, I don't even want to get depressed.
Justin?
Yeah.
I don't think he's had a 300-yard game with the Bears.
Yeah, he has. He's had one or two.
I'm contradicting you. I don't remember it if he did. So I'm saying, which game was it?
I'll tell you.
But, I wanted to say, it's time to also, as Bears fans, some of us, to come to some realization a little bit that, like, Fields is never going to be that guy. He's not. Either he never was, or even if he was and needed molding, well, we fucked that up. So he's not. You know what I mean? But at this point, like I said, it would be foolish to think that in 1 week he's going to completely turn into this stud that we've thought that he would be. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying that I'm out of Justin Fields, that he can't, like that he wouldn't belong in the league. I think we've seen too much talent, that he could be on a good team if he's surrounded with players that it could look like something good. I just don't know that this coaching staff can get that out of this guy, because to me, this coaching staff regressed him.
He had a 310-yard game against the Lions in November 25th of 2022.
Oh, that's the game that we lost by a missed extra point.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
Was it 31-30 that day?
I believe you're right.
But
he also had if I remember, he had a pick six towards the end. I mean, it was just a horrific game.
Yeah, I believe it's that. Yeah, that's the game, buddy. Yep.
31-30.
Let me go to the box score just to make sure.
Yeah, I think that's the game. Santos missed the extra point and we lost.
No, that was 16-14.
16-14.
That was November 25th, 2021. Sorry.
Oh, 21.
It was his rookie season. He had a 310-yard game. And then let me go to the 2022 season.
No, that's the Matt Patricia game when he was a rookie. Shit, I miss Matt. I miss Matt Patricia at the Lions, man. That was good old Lions, man.
Let's see.
Hey, while you're looking for that, I gotta ask you guys. But before I ask you, I'm also gonna offer my comment on it. But like, god damn, do you feel bad for the Jets fans? Like, oh my fucking god, is just an organization, and I guess like fans in general. God, I feel so bad for them, man.
I'll be honest, I do. Like that defense was just dominant against the Bills, and then they came out and still won that game because of Garrett Wilson on offense. Man, that kid is electric.
Yeah.
They've got some weapons on offense. That running back too was awesome in that game, and then they just squeaked out a win. Could you imagine if Rodgers was on that team? And I know you can't stand him as much as I can't, Dan, but that looked like I was watching that in the beginning, going, "Holy shit, this team's they could win the Super Bowl with this guy."
I got a hypothetical for you. Let's say the Jets say, "Well, Trey Lance got traded for a 4th-round pick. All right, Chicago, here's your 4th-round pick. Send us Justin Fields. Yes or no?"
I think it's too early for that. I know.
I'm just saying what the Jets call like today. And they say there's obviously a bunch of shit going on over there with you all. He's not performing well.
I think Poles would take it. To answer your question, I think Poles would take it because I think Poles is out. I think Poles is out when it comes to Fields. I think he's out. Whether it's deserved or not is an entirely different story. So to answer your question, I think they would actually take that. I just don't think that Jets would offer that. Why the fuck would you? When
I'm just
you
saying,
probably next year, you can probably get Justin for free.
Well, maybe they think they could win the Super Bowl this year if they just had an upgrade over Zach Wilson.
But does he?
Know.
Yeah. To me, right now, it looks so shattered that he doesn't. Oh my god, I can't believe this is gonna come out of my mouth. But he don't look. He don't look better than Zach Wilson to me right now.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. I hope I don't offend
me at all. It was just a hypothetical of like what would you do like if they said to you, Sanjay, what is you make the call. We're going to trade him for a 4th-round pick. Yes or no?
No.
And I'm saying 4th round based upon Trey Lance's trade. Because that's all San Francisco got for him.
It's very hard for me to answer that, Dan, because put it to you this way. If I was in that, I guess if I knew more inside information and like
Raging Oracle.
I would tell you this: if I can see the Fields is not that guy, and to Dan's point, that Bagent, I will go probably try out Bagent, but that's if I had that info. Right now, it's hard for me to say that as a fan.
All right, let me rephrase the question.
I will tell you.
Take the 4th round out of it.
Then no, I'm not.
Let me rephrase the question.
Okay.
Let's assume Bagent is going to start week whatever. It doesn't matter what week it is. Let's say it's early enough in the year where the trade deadline's here. It's week 7, 8, whatever.
Yeah.
If you were going to bench Fields, would you rather either have him on the bench or trade him? Like what's better for the Bears? If
I was going to bench him, I would try to trade him. Yes.
Do you think benching him would motivate him and make him play better? Or do you think if you bench him, you just have to dump him as soon as you do?
If you bench him and put in a fucking undrafted rookie free agent, no, that's not gonna help him. So if you're gonna bench him, you have to trade him.
Right now.
I think if you bench him, if you bench Fields, I think his career in Chicago is done.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be any message or anything. I think he will just be done. At that point, you're trying out Bagent to see who you have with him, and you'll probably finish out the season with him to really see what you got in him and then decide like, oh, okay, well, you know what, this kid is all right and we can build around him, or clean slate, baby. Fire the coach, hire a new coach, draft a quarterback if you like someone coming out of that class. Mm-hmm. But I think benching Fields, that's a career over in Chicago.
So, Rob, I want to address Ravi here in chat. He's saying, don't worry. Ravi, I remember when we were doing the live draft on BCP here, and you were in chat, you were just sweating bullets over the Roshan Johnson draft pick. And we were all kind of trying to talk you out of it. And we finally talked you out of off the cliff, proverbial cliff. for the Johnson draft pick, and then you kind of came around and you're like, yeah, okay, I can get behind what you guys are saying. Are you able to? So you're telling us right now not to worry. So now you're trying to flip the script on us here. Ravi, are you saying, like, seriously, do not worry? Justin Fields has got this shit. He's going to bounce back. I would like to know. What's up, J2K? J2K happening. Trading Fields for 4th round. Wow. my how quickly we all as Bears fans just turn our tune, right?
No, again, I only said that based upon Trey Lance's trade.
Yeah, it's a hypothetical, and it's a very valid question because Dan, we talked about it at the beginning of the show. If you wanna be a franchise that's gonna try to win and have some fucking balls, then recognize that, like, man, this kid ain't working. Trade him. It is what it is. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying. Like, I just don't know that we have anyone with the set of balls like that.
I'll ask another question.
Okay.
If for some reason Justin would have a big game against Kansas City, let's say take the win out of it, because more than likely the Chiefs are going to win. More than likely. You never know. The upsets happen. But let's say KC wins, but Justin has a tremendous game. Could he take that hypothetical great game and harness that into some momentum and move forward and start having consistent great games? Is that possible? Or does he have a great game against KC and then followed up with the same old shit against Denver?
I will answer, Dan then can give his answer. I will tell you this, is that from the day Fields was drafted, everything that I've read about any from his other coaches, everyone was saying this kid can handle pressure. This kid is built for this. Here's the fucking pressure. Welcome to Chicago, motherfucker. You know what I mean? There is, like, look, I'm not going to lie. The kid is fucking talented. He has a fucking cannon of an arm. Like, one of the most athletic.
The first time I ever had you on the show, all you did was
one of the
blow
most
Justin Fields. Yeah. So, okay, go ahead.
One of the most athletic fucking quarterbacks in the league. And you're right. When I was defending him, I was telling you guys, like, man, this kid is making some fucking throws that you only see elite quarterbacks make. But I'm not seeing that guy anymore in week 1 and week 2, on and off the field. That's why I'm, like, really pissed at the coaching and, like, wondering, like, what the fuck did you guys do to him? Now, to answer your question, yes, if Fields really is that guy, what Dan was saying about, like, then he would show up. And if he's that guy, then he needs to fucking show up. Like, not today, not tomorrow. He should, like, yesterday. Like, he needs to get here today, now. You know what I mean? So to answer your question, yes, it's very much possible for that to happen because Fields, like, man, we can't disregard his raw talent. Guys, we can't.
Oh, I'm not trying to.
But at the same time, that's what I said earlier. We have to come back to planet Earth and realize that, like, look, man, kind of some things can be realistic, and sometimes you just got to be like, all right, man, you know what I mean? Like me personally, like the chances of him, like, dropping 350 in Kansas City and scoring 3 touchdowns are, like, I'm gonna go play lottery tomorrow. I probably got the same chance. You know what I mean? But because he is so talented, I will always leave that window a little bit open and say, like, okay, well, if he is that guy that everyone's saying that can handle all this pressure, this and that, yada, 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 I'm saying we would see it by now, or we need to see it right now.
Yeah.
I'm just worried that I've seen this coaching staff. To me, it looks like they've just destroyed them, man. Because last year we had a really good, what was that, from week 4 to, like, week, I don't know, whichever week before he got hurt. He looked like competent. Like, you can win with him. You know what I mean? And that's when that time we were talking about, like, well, he has no one to fucking throw to. Sigma Webster, who? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, fucking Dante Pettis. Like, and that's what we're talking about. Like, okay, well, when you give him some weapons and some line and give us the Fields from those weeks, like, we should be all right. We should cook especially if he takes another fucking step forward. We should really be fucking cooking. But to me, like we've taken massive steps back, and I blame nobody but the fucking coaching. And I'm completely, like I said, I've been repeating myself the whole fucking night. I'm out on Eberflus from this morning when I was listening to him justify the fucking play calling after you know what I mean? I don't know that he heard the fucking Tampa Bay player say that, but like, God fucking damn it, man. Like, how can you not be worried as a fan or as an owner? Or as
devil's advocate to you, although I agree with you, but just playing devil's advocate, maybe Eberflus is just protecting his guy. You know, I mean, maybe he's like, dude, I'm going to tell him in the locker room privately, yeah, we fucked that up. They saw it. They knew the formation, but I'm not going to go throw you in front of the fucking bus in with the Chicago media. So maybe Eberflus, who has a reputation of being a good guy, maybe he's just saying what he has to say, but is ripping, his guy behind closed doors. I don't know. We'll never know. But I do tend to agree with you. You can still acknowledge the failures without, being so wishy-washy and trying to say that was a great call, because everybody knows it wasn't. But I'm just saying maybe he's just trying to protect his coordinator and take a bullet for him.
Maybe,
Maybe.
But if you listen to Cap and Hood from this morning, Cap asked him, I think twice, flat out, is like, would you change anything? What are your thoughts on the play? Oh yeah, I had no problem with the play call because, it was good call for the coverage that they've put out there, and it's like,
well, you ran the same play.
You ran the play, yes. It's not like, okay, so who? And I'm telling you, go back if you get a chance to look at the highlights for that particular play. The fucking linebacker for Tampa Bay is making the cut where the running back would seep out from, even before the Fields makes that little dump pass before he even gets intercepted. Like he's making that cut. He read the fucking play, man. It's like, we're dead to rights, bro. Like, what the fuck are you talking about telling me that, I'm okay with the call? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I get what you're saying, that he might be, you might be right that he's defending his guy, but like, well, you're a fucking idiot if you are, like, to be telling, because you miss. My problem with that then is I have, again, problem with the head coach, because you're sending me mixed fucking signals. Send me a signal that you know what the fuck is happening in your goddamn room, and then you're not going to have me fucking bitch about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, be the fucking head coach. You think Mike Tomlin will fucking say shit like that? Like, yeah. Damn it, that's what I'm saying. There's nobody in that fucking.
As much as I agree with you,
has some fucking balls.
As much as I agree with you, I think Lovey would have said that and would have protected his. I think Lovey would have been like, "Oh, I agree with the play call." I think because Lovey was like that with the media too. Like, and then he would use tell the players that the media was out to get them and stuff. But I think he would have tried to protect his coordinator, Ron Turner, Mike Martz, whomever, Mike Tice. I think he would have tried to. I think Lovey would have done the same thing. Is what I'm saying.
What if we have a night? This is a nightmare scenario for me right now. Let me explain this, a nightmare scenario. We bench Fields. We try with the Bajent thing. That doesn't work out. And then when shit really doesn't matter, when we're like, I don't know, 0-10 or some bullshit, they
go back to Justin.
And then he ends up like ripping it apart. That would be like, what do you do at that point? That would be the nightmare scenario.
That happened with Trubisky, right? They Bill Lazor in that offense, they benched him and they brought him back, and he started to look good when Bill Lazor was calling the plays.
Yeah, I remember that.
And we almost got sucked into that again.
Yeah,
another contract with him.
Yeah.
So,
that.
I mean, who's to say? I mean,
that would be a nightmare scenario.
It could work in his favor. It could light a fire under his ass, but I would tend to think that someone coming from his pedigree would be offended by that, because he has always been the guy everywhere he's ever been. And to say, hey, we're going to sit you in favor of this guy that can throw the ball like a lightning bolt. And if he wins 2 games in a row, for fuck's sake, that'd be like the next coming of Jesus for us if we won 2 games in a row right now. So if he did that, it would be like,
that
We'd all burn the city down for him to be the starter.
the thing with Bajan is like I'm gonna tell you the same thing for Fields is like I'm worried. Look, unless Bajan is some secret diamond in the rough, Tom Brady 2.0 again. I'm just like I don't believe that. I'm just saying, which I don't think he is. Like that would be the only thing that could like you mentioned earlier that could eclipse this coaching. Otherwise, putting Bajan in with this, what seems to be this coaching and this quarterback development, I don't know how different is it going to be. I don't know. Now, yes, I'll know people are going to immediately put in the chat, well, there's guys fucking wide open if he throws them. Yeah, okay, well, we would see. Let's fucking see. That is one thing that, like, as much as I've been bitching at everything, is that about the coaching, is that, yes, if I was Lou Getsy, I bet it would be frustrating to see some of your plays. You're like, God fucking damn it, bitch, you're going to get me fired, motherfucker. So, you know what I mean? It is very difficult, but to me, they haven't developed Fields. I understand the guys are open for you. Well, you haven't developed him clearly. You regressed him. That's the fucking problem. Like I said, if we could get back Fields from those week 4 to whatever before he got hurt and put like this newer offensive line, the new offensive weapons, that's what we fucking want, motherfucker. But like we lost that. We took a year back. We took a step back.
Yes, we did, sir. I do think that we did. I would,
And again, I see what Swift Sports Network just wrote now, where he says the overreactions after two losses are insane. It's not about the fucking losses. It's about the fact that it looks like we just fucking missed on our fucking
it looks like it's Justin's
year. It's 0-2. Exactly. Like if Justin's a stud and we're on 2, like I would feel better about it because like I feel we have the foundation. We're overreacting because it seems like all the plans for the next 10, 15 years are back to year 1.
Right.
We got like, and what's going to happen? You're not going to be great year 1. You're like, now I got to waste another 3-4 years of my life waiting for the Bears to be fucking competitive. That's what that fucking is.
It's a lack of hope.
Yes.
And it's all based on hope. Yeah. It's not like, okay, in 4 years, we're for sure going to be competitive. It's based on fucking hope.
But we thought going into the season, that we've got something here, even though I was really panicked after the last preseason game on this program, actually. But I think your point, though, your larger point is to say we had all this immense hope for Fields, and clearly after week 2, it looks like our hope was fool's gold. Like it's just not warranted. And so that's what makes the 0-2 again far worse than the 0-2 is that it looks like we're starting over again. And I agree.
Yeah.
We're going to be back to a new coach and a new quarterback and a new scheme and a new this and new that. And the writing is on the wall. And people say history doesn't matter. Only this matters. Well, I've gone through every coach since Ditka and all of them failing in the same scenario based that we're in. The quarterback plays bad and they're going to be fired. And we're going to see it. I mean, I hope that maybe somehow they turn it around. I'm going to be rooting Sunday for that to happen. I do not want to be right.
Yes.
I want Fields to earn like an extension and be the guy.
Yes,
right.
I think it's going to happen now. I think he's been exposed.
I think we've like I said, even if he was going to could have been molded into that guy, like the kid is seeing fucking ghosts now, either because of bad coaching or I don't know what.
Bad offensive line play, something.
Yeah, he's not even the
What
same.
about the first game he got sacked 9 times? Yeah, by the Browns. He was seeing ghosts instead.
Yeah. He's not, to me, he's not the same player from last year. I'm sorry.
All right, guys, I want to go back to the Swifty quote here to end this show. And we're going to end this on the positive note, okay? Swifty saying we won 3 games last year. This team will finish a lot better. The overreactions after 2 losses are insane. And so I'm just going to say this. I'm going to say what I was telling everybody that I was talking to when we walked out of the stadium yesterday after that second loss, and I told everybody I went in there 375 pounds, and I came out looking like this. It was that fucking hot there. And I was saying, it's only 2 games, guys. It's only 2 games. So, the original, in fact, your own record prediction was the same, Dan. BCP prediction for the record was 11-6. A panel of 5 made it. It's still possible, guys. It's still possible. Listen, the Green Bay loss was especially disheartening for us because it was Green Bay.
The whole season, and that's the shit you come out with.
Right.
Game
And
wise.
it was the loss to a new regime quarterback in Love who looked eerily similar to Rodgers, and it was a bad taste, right? And then we lose this game in Tampa where I was there. I'm telling you guys, it was hot as hell. If that's what hell's like, I don't want to do no wrong. I want to make sure I go to the opposite of that, because that was just awful. Sitting in that and having to deal with a loss in that. But
By the way, if I could cut you off, I hope Cliff was sweating too, because in the off season, he told me, I don't know if it was on this show or on Aldo, somewhere along the lines, he said that the heat in Florida is overrated. Because I was pointing out in the off season, if they don't get off to a good start and they lose to Green Bay, they could be 0-2 because of the heat, and then they go to KC, and then they could be 0-3. And he interjected that that's bullshit because it's not that big of a deal. And I brought up, I was like, but even when Ditka would go down there, they'd win 13-6 or something because it was fucking 102 degrees in week 2. But Cliff said it wasn't that big of a deal. So I hope Cliff was sweating his fucking balls off beside you.
he wasn't.
Oh, okay.
He was wearing a hat and barely sweating. He was out there grilling in the sun, and we're sitting under the tarp while we were tailgating. And he's like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. It's not that bad out here. Like, fuck you, Cliff. He was barely sweating. I was just pouring sweat.
I know Jay and I were sweating our fucking balls off during the Packer game too. I sweat the whole game that day. It was in bright sunshine.
Yeah, it's awful when that's the case. Let's see, where did my my image go? Oh, it's over here.
I interrupted your thought though. So essentially, you kept saying that it was only 2 games. You said after the game. Is that still your mindset? Is that what you're saying?
11-6 is still possible, guys. We all have to band together and realize that 11-6 is still possible. It's only 4 more games we have to lose to go to 11-6. We can easily do. Come on, I'm trying to end it on a good note here. We need to bear the fuck down. That's what bear down means.
They need to make some changes, because if nothing changes, this is not going to look good. We either need Fields to come out of his shell and start ripping it when guys are open, or we need to make some changes, because
and the secondary, even if Fields starts balling, Eddie Jackson hasn't been Eddie Jackson in 5 years, but let's assume Eddie's on IR because he hurt the same foot reportedly.
Mm-hmm.
And Gordon's on IR. Brisker's always hurt. Then, you got 3, you're going to have 3 guys back there that have no experience. That's a recipe for disaster for anyone's secondary.
I got to tell you, Samo here, shit, that heat had me about to tap out. I can't imagine playing a game in that heat. After the Bears scored the first touchdown, you know me, Dan, I'm high-fiving everybody, and
yeah.
Your case giving you kisses on the cheek. And I turn around. I'm trying to high five all the Bears fans. I look behind me. I'm fucking Samo here from chat was at the game. He started off here on BCP. He's on the Nomad Network now. And I turn around. I'm looking at him. What is that fucking Sam? And he starts looking at me. He's like, I'm like, oh my God. Oh, but what? He was like 2 seats behind us. He was 2 rows behind us, like right behind us.
That's
So
incredible.
that was absolute. Even he said, "What's the chances of that?" I said, "What? 1 in 70,000."
That's pretty good.
That was cool.
should have been a sign that the Bears were going to win that day, and then it didn't come into fruition.
Yeah, it was really cool to see you there yesterday, Sam. Cool to meet you in person and shit. Give you a fist pump after a touchdown, because the rest of it wasn't very good, but it was fun, man. It was fun. But guys, to end the show, if we come out and beat KC next week in KC, fingers crossed, the whole narrative will change, right? We're going to be clicking back up the roller coaster, getting ready for the top. Hopefully we're going to stay there for a little bit before we start click, going back down again. But this season is still salvageable. You know, we saw the Lions last year go 0-6 and then almost make the playoffs. So as long as you buy into the process as the team, and you don't harp on every loss like we are as fans, you just move on from it. You get to work the next day, you get to practice, you work on what you do, the game film stuff, you figure out what worked best, you build on that, and the wins can start to come. And we could easily be sitting here 2-2, and the conversation will be entirely different. So as fans, yes, we want to just burn the city down right now because the anticipation of this season. But all is not lost. It's only 2 games into a 17-game season. There's 15 games left, guys. And that's why I say it is fucking bear the fuck down. Bear down. Bear down. We can sit here and bitch and vent and whine and moan and complain all we want. But in the end, we are forced to do nothing but what, guys? Bear down. We can't go in there and control the play calling. We can't go in there and just ask Justin Fields to get rid of the ball quicker. We can't go in there and say, oh, you're running too many screen passes. We have to just trust in the process and bear the fuck down. Thank you, Ravi. Bear the fuck down. All right, I think that's a good.
Well, let me point out that this is we will bear. All of us are rooting for the Bears to win. I don't think anybody that cares wants us to lose. I mean,
Right.
So, but we have to acknowledge too, we're cheering for an organization that's won one playoff game. The last playoff game rather was 2010 that they won.
All right, you're getting pulled, Dan. You're out of here.
We're cheering for a team that doesn't deserve the benefit of the doubt. When even Lovey, we all love Lovey. You know, Lovey took it, but Lovey only made the playoffs in 05, 6, and 10. And he was there from 04 through 12. Mm-hmm. So since Ditka, it has been a shit show. Dick Duran made it once. Lovey made it 3 times. And then Nagy made it twice, actually.
Twice.
I always forget that 2020 horrific playoff game in New Orleans.
They backed in there, yeah.
But, if Wims catches that pass early on from Trubisky, who knows what?
Yep, who knows? It was right in the breadbasket.
This organization has been losing overwhelmingly in our adult lives. Mm-hmm. So it feels like it's a continuation of all of that. That doesn't mean we don't care. It doesn't mean we're not cheering on Sunday. It just means it looks like the same old shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think any of us are less diehards for acknowledging that it looks like the same failures that we've had repeatedly.
Right. It feels like Groundhog Day in a way. Yeah, for sure. Parting words, champ?
No, as Dan said, and you as well, of course, you're not a fucking Bears fan if you're hoping that this team loses against Kansas City. So goddamn right that I'm going to be fucking wanting him to win. I'm going to want Justin to come out of his shell if he is that guy. The thing that The one thing that I would want this fan base in general to do is to be a bit more united when it comes to the pride of the team. Like not the players. I mean the franchise. Like not McCaskey's either. I mean the franchise.
Mhm.
Players come and go. And it hurts me to hear stories that Dan Aguirre shared that, fucking Packers took over our house. You know what I mean? Like
Horrible.
I come from Europe, you know what I mean? So I grew up in fucking soccer hooligan background where your team's losing 5-0, but you're not leaving that fucking stadium precisely because there's like this honor in question that you're not going to allow the opposing fans to pretty much just stamp all over the fucking franchise. Even, you know what I mean? Like you're going to lose on the field, but you're not going to fucking lose your home in an essence. And,
Right.
and it hurts me to see that we have so many fans.
Heartbroken.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? But like we need to unite, man. We can't be allowing that shit. I'm not calling for anyone out there to like fucking fight anyone. You know what I mean? But like we need to have we need to be a little bit more, I don't want to say organized, but we need to be a bit more cognitive of when we're representing the franchise. This is the Chicago Bears. Forget the McCaskies, forget the players. Players will always come and go, but this team this is our pride, and we can't allow other teams to just be taking over a house like that. We have to have pride. We have to trust in this team, and we have to believe that we can win. That's how we have to have a winning culture from within us, the fans ourselves.
Right.
I agree with you, and I will never tip that guy that does the drums outside the
I'm
stadium
done.
ever again because he was in
Never
cahoots
same here.
with the Go Pack Go people. He was playing to them as I was walking out. I was like, "You motherfucker! I'll never give you $1 ever again."
Yep.
What a cheap whore that guy is.
Bro.
What a cheap whore. We lose and he fucking sucks up to the Packer fans.
He was making all the money from him that day for playing the Go Pack Go for song for them. He was just
The
going with the
drummer
money.
at Soldier Field is a whore. Selling his fucking fandom for the Packers there. That was disgusting.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
That's awful. That's awful, man. Well, let's get the chat here, guys. Thank you all for joining us tonight, man. AC Adams, Zach Sullivan, Sam Rush. Great to see you, Sam. It was crazy to see you at the game yesterday. Chicago Parker, first time seeing you here. Thanks for joining us. I hope you had fun with us. We got another show coming up. I have one on Wednesday at 6:00 p.m. Eastern time with Lynn Hayden, and then our show with PJ and Foster on Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Raging Oracle, great to see you in here. B Minor, PJ, my co-host. We'll see you on Thursday. J2K, great to see you again. Ravi, awesome to see you in here. Man, so many new faces in here too. I got to go all the way up. There was a Greg, Mayhem, Mo Bierman. Everybody, if I'm missing your name, I apologize. It's because I have to scroll up so far.
Dan, can you just allow me to make one more quick comment? I see Chicago Parker. Parker has a comment. It says, "What pride? I was born in '86. This thing ain't one shit." This is exactly what I'm talking about. You ain't about the team. If the team loses, that doesn't mean that the other fans have to beat us fans from Chicago also. That's what I'm talking about, man. Have some fucking pride as a fucking fan, man.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
We're going to end this.
Just have some fucking pride as a I'm not saying go out there and fucking fight Packers fans, man. I'm not saying any of that. But have some fucking pride that, like, at the end of the day, yeah, fine. They all fucking suck. Fuck the team. They all fucking suck. But I'm not going to fucking allow another fucking fan base to come into my fucking house and disrespect my fucking fan base. That's not going to fucking happen. That's the fucking attitude that we need to fucking have, man.
Yes.
If you want to be a fucking winner, fucking starts with the goddamn fans.
Bear the fuck down. We'll do that at the end of the show.
Sonny's fucking brought it tonight, man.
Fired up tonight, my man.
Yeah.
Swifty, thanks for joining us, bro.
Appreciate
in
you.
chat tonight. Leo Factor, forgot about you. Sorry, buddy. Who else is in here? DG Daniels, good to see you again. Lynn Hayden. Lynn, we'll see you on Wednesday. Everybody else in chat, if I missed you, I strongly apologize. It wasn't on purpose. I do appreciate all of you guys for hanging out with us tonight. Make sure that you like, subscribe, set your notifications, tell your friends, because there's a lot of fun shit coming up here on BCP. And tonight, rather than ending the show on a typical Bears, because I like to go 1, 2, 3 Bears, let's end the show on a fucking 1, 2, 3 bear the fuck down. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Bear
Fuck
fuck
down.
down, baby.
I fucked it up.
We're good, bro.
Bear the fuck down. Bear down.
Let's go.